Chibundo. It's nice to have you join us here. All right, it's nice to have you join us here. And so please, we are streaming live on YouTube currently. We are streaming live on YouTube currently. All right, so please, in case you know anyone who is having difficulty joining the Zoom session, you could direct a person to join via YouTube. Okay, we are streaming this live to YouTube at the moment. All right, so Emmanuel Chukweto. Emmanuel Chukweto. Emmanuel, please could you introduce yourself? Emmanuel
Hello,
Chukweto.
good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I'm Emmanuel Chukweto. I'm by the grace of God, I'm an Anglican clergy.
Wow.
I reside in the Enugu States.
All right.
And I'm doing my little business, crayfish and others, fish and others. Thank you very much and God bless you.
All right. All right. Reverend Emmanuel Chukweto, it's nice to have you join us here. Reverend Emmanuel Chukweto is joining us from Enugu State. Enugu State is a state in Southeast Nigeria. Thank you very much, Reverend Emmanuel Chukweto. It's nice to have you join us here. All right, so Chiemere Odinaka, please. Chiemere Odinaka. Chiemere Odinaka, can you hear me? Hello. All right. So if Chiemere is not able to speak at the moment, please, whosoever is in Phoenix Hot, please could you unmute and introduce yourself to us? In Phoenix Hot 10T. Promise, please could you go on and introduce yourself now? Promise.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good
My
evening
name
to you,
is Aaron
Promise.
Numba. I help develop strategy for monitoring and evaluating development projects. I live in Abuja. Thank you for having me.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Promise. It's nice to have you here. It's nice to have you here. Thank you. Thank you very much, Promise. Promise has been working with us for some time to put this event together. Thank you very much, Promise, for your innumerable contributions so far. Thank you. Thank you very much, Promise. All right. So please, who is left for the introduction? Please, if you've not yet introduced yourself, do well to let me know, or you could just unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
My name is Chukwuemeka Mba. I'm not Promise Aaron Mba's brother, but it would be nice to be his brother after now. I am a nursing father, and I'm joining from Ontario, Canada. Thank you so much.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so Promise, you now have a potential. All right, so it's nice to have you here, Mr. Chukwuemeka, all the way from Ontario, Canada. Thank you for making our time to be here with us. Thank you.
Hello, can anyone hear me? Okay, he's back.
Please. All right. So please, can you all hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, so as I was saying before, yeah, I was disconnected for a moment. So as I was saying, we need to set the agenda for the conference so that each and every one of us participating in this conference will get to know what to expect and uh, he, uh, what to expect from the conference. So that is that. So first, before I do that, I would like to ask a question. Is there anyone here on the call currently who participated in the 2022 edition, that's the maiden edition of the Young Men Conference? Is there anyone on the call currently who participated in the maiden edition? Okay, the maiden edition of the conference. Is there anyone on the call who participated in the first edition of this conference? Anyone? Anyone? No one. Wow. So everyone here, okay. As Ifani Jenny said, he participated. Okay, so Ifani, please could you unmute yourself and share your experiences from the first edition with us? Okay, just unmute yourself and go on and share your experiences with us.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
The first, the medium edition of the men's conference last year was wow. That is the kind adjective I will use to describe it. So we learned a lot. A lot of speakers came on board and dish out very valuable nuggets on that particular 2 days program. So it's a life transforming and life changing program last year. So that is what I have to say. Thank you all.
All right, all right. Thank you very much, Ifani. Thank you very, very much, Ifani. Okay, so last year the theme of the conference was positive masculinity. Okay, that was the theme of the conference, positive masculinity. And how did the idea of the Young Man Conference come about? Okay, for we began hosting the Young Women Conference. We began hosting the Young Women Conference every year, and while we were planning to host the second edition of the Young Women Conference, it occurred to us, or let me not say it occurred to us, someone on my team suggested that we should also host a Young Men Conference. Okay, so I gave it a thought. Before then, whenever discussions like this in the public forum, whenever discussions like these are being held, it's usually focused on the female folk. Okay, it's usually we have a lot of discussions, we have a whole lot of conferences, we have a whole lot of interactions around the female folk, the challenges they face, but only a few are get towards the challenges that the male folk face. Okay, and as an organization, we had a lot of programs that were also tilting in that direction. That's in that direction that everyone is tilting towards, with high focus on the female folk. All right. Now, while we are planning for 2022 conference of the Young Women, the 2022 edition of the Young Women Conference, someone told me that there is actually, because the conference for the young women holds every March, so it's held to coincide with the International Women's Day. That's March 8th. So we hold a conference to coincide with the International Women's Day. So someone on my team made a suggestion that there is actually an International Men's Day, and for a moment, I couldn't believe, and I argued with the person. I told the person, no, we don't have an International Men's Day. I've not heard of it before. And that's for you to know. I didn't have, as at last year, I didn't know that we had a day set aside and known as International Men's Day. Okay, because it doesn't come with a pump, the publicity that the International Women's Day experiences. Okay, so I didn't know. I didn't know. So when she said that to me, I had to go do further research, and I found out that truly we have a day set out as International Men's Day. November 19 every year is set out as International Men's Day. And I was like, wow. So we have an International Men's Day, and there's no much noise around it. There's no much activity. There's no much, mobilization. There is no much programs, conferences organized around the challenges that men face. So it raised a lot of questions. It raised a lot of questions, and I took it up as a challenge to see to it that in our own little way that we'll begin to create, awareness around the concept of the challenge around around men and the challenges they face, in order to help men, overcome some of these challenges, and in order to help the society begin to redefine the idea of who a man is. Okay, to begin to redefine the idea and the concept of a man, because it will interest you to know that a whole lot of persons, if you are to invite 10 persons right now and ask them who is a man, you can bet, you will be sure that you will get 10 different concepts of who a man is. Okay, of who a man is. The same way, if you invite 10 different persons, especially females, and you ask them who is a complete man, you are sure to get what? 10 different what? 10 different definitions, 10 different concepts of who a complete man is. All right. So that first edition of the Young Men Conference was held last year on November 19th. It was held last year, November 19th, and the theme was positive masculinity. And through the conference, we try to make young men understand that you don't really need to, try to prove anything to anybody. You are a man, you are a man. There's no point trying to prove anything to anybody. Okay, it's in the process of wanting to prove, to prove to people, to prove to society, I am a man. That's when you see traits of negative masculinity begin to manifest in the life of young men. Okay, so through that conference, we try to let a participant understand what positive masculinity entails and help them understand why they need to begin to project positive masculinity. Okay, so and this year's edition, we decided to take it a step further by considering the concept of who a complete man is. Okay, of considering the concept of who a complete man is. All right, so that is what we are going to be doing all through this conference. That is what we are going to be doing. Now, we are going to, first of all, in a few minutes from now, we are going to have our keynote speaker join us, and he is going to lay the foundation of who a complete man is. Okay, he's going to lay a foundation for us on who a complete man is, in order to help us begin to appreciate or to have a clearer understanding of who exactly a complete man is, so that in the course of the conference, as the various speakers will join us here and they begin to talk about complete man, we will already have an understanding, okay, of who exactly is being referred to when we speak of a complete man. All right, so after that, we are going to have a panel session. Okay, we are going to be having a panel session this night, and the panel session is going to focus on the concepts or the idea of networking. Okay, in order for you to be a complete man doesn't exist in isolation. A complete man doesn't exist in isolation. In fact, as humans, we we were not created to exist in isolation. We were not created to exist in isolation. Okay, we were not created to exist in isolation. All right. So that is why we one of the panel session will be focused on helping us understand as a complete man what is the role that your network plays. Okay, because your network to a large extent affects a whole lot of things about you. So we are going to be exploring the role that the network plays. Okay, and the role that a supportive network plays in your growth, in your development, in your emergence, in your promotion as a young man. All right. And when we are done with that, okay, we are going to have a session where we are going to be considering the role of the work of your hand. Now, when we speak of the work of your hand, we speak of your business, we're speaking of your job. Okay, in case you are employed on a job, that's what we are speaking of. That is the work of your hand. If you have a business of your own that you are running, that is what we are speaking of. So, what role does that work play in you being a complete man? What is the role of the work of your hand? Okay, so that is how the conversations will go today, the first day. That's how the conversations will go today, the first day. And then by tomorrow, which is the second day, okay, we are going to take the conversations a step further. All right, and then we'll look at the concept of spirituality and value. What role does spirituality, what role does your value system, what role does it play in you becoming or remaining a complete man? What role does it play? What role does it play? And when we are done with that, we then move on to the concept of finances. Money is important. Money is important. Okay, money is a defense. Okay, so we are going to be considering what role does money play? Okay, what role does money play when it comes to the concept of a complete man? What role does money play? Okay, so that is another thing we are going to be considering tomorrow. And then we are going to be considering the foundations you need to build in order to have a successful relationship or a successful marriage. Okay, so these are some of the topics we are going to be considering tomorrow. Okay, so like I said, today we are going to kick off with a keynote session on the concept of on the topic the complete man. Okay, we are going to be kicking off with a keynote session on the topic of a complete man. All right, and I must say, it's a privilege to have with us the speaker, Mr. Chukwemeka Ephraim Okenwa, who is popularly known as CEO. He is the one that is going to be doing justice to that topic. He's going to be delivering the keynote to us on the theme of this conference, the complete man. Okay, so I've known Mr. Chukwuma Ephraim Okenwa. I've known him for some years now. I've known him for some years now, and one of the things I've come to know him for is his dedication, his passion for young people. Okay, his dedication and his passion for young people. I've attended a number of the conferences and events he organized, and another thing I love him for, is his passion and his commitment. His passion and his commitment to helping young people grow. Okay, his passion and his commitment to helping other people grow. I remember when we started up Double Edge Impact Network, and we had to put together a conference in the year 2019. Okay, I reached out to him and I expressed an intention to have him and a couple of other persons in attendance, and CEO showed up in his full force. He showed up in his full force. Okay, he showed up in his full force, and he colored the event. Okay, and then when we needed to hold the conference again in 2021, he showed up again. Okay, he's one man from over the years that I've known him, I've never called upon him and he says no. I've never called upon him and he says no. So it's really a privilege to have him here with us tonight. And shortly, I'll be welcoming him to deliver the keynote for this conference. Now, it will be nice to once again let us know who I am talking about. So I'll be reading out his bio for us. Okay, so please, I would like you to pay rapt attention. All right. So Mr. Kipuma Ephraim Okenwa is fondly known as CEO. And now the reason why he's called CEO is because of his initials. Because of his initials. Okay. Kipuma Ephraim Okenwa CEO. All right. So he's a social entrepreneur. He's a school administrator. If you are in Enugu State, Nigeria, you should know Queen's Model Academy. It's a popular private institution in Enugu State. He's the principal. He's a administrator there. Okay, so and he is the executive director of the Leadership, Entrepreneurship, and Advocacy Network. Mr. Okenwa holds. Someone says he can't hear me. So please, can anyone confirm that I'm still audible? Someone says he can't hear me.
We can hear you, sir. I think if perhaps they could send a chat to him. I don't know if he can hear me. I don't know whether he joined with his. Okay, he say he can hear. Okay, fine. No,
Okay,
I think that's not the same person. But if the other person could hear, or maybe admin could send a note, let him join with volume. Let him join with volume. Perhaps he didn't join with volume.
All right, sir. All right, sir. All right, sir. I will contact the person after now. Okay, so Mr. Okenwa holds a postgraduate diploma in multilateral diplomacy from the United Nations Institute of Training and Research, and a master's in anti-corruption and diplomacy from the International Anti-Corruption Academy, Luxembourg. Chukwuma Okenwa has been nominated twice as a yearly network influencer in Nigeria. He's a fellow of the leadership course in criminal intelligence and security management course with the Defense Intelligence College, Abuja, Nigeria. And he's a member of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Lagos. Okenwa is one of the 30 inaugural cohorts of the Geneva Science Diplomacy Anticipator, and indeed the only one selected from West Africa. Wow. Okenwa served as a board member at the Enugu State Post-Primary Schools Management Board, PPSMB. He was charged with the responsibility of managing the 296 public high schools in Enugu State, Nigeria. And please permit me to add, in 2021, he was recognized as the Double Edge Impact Network Man of the Year. So please, everyone, join me as I welcome Mr. Chukwuma Ephraim Okenwa, CEO.
Okay. Thank you so much, my dear brother. And thank you all for joining. I would have wanted to put on my camera. But of course, what I always do, my children, there's this Bible study they are doing in the parlor at the yard level. So my strategic position where I have enough light is currently not accessible. I had to, it's democracy. They have the number. So permit me, but the most important thing is the things we'll share. And to me, anytime I have an opportunity to speak with, fellow young people, it's always like an excitement, because to me, it won't be a function of maybe telling you things I have so much studies that have not worked for me. It's like sharing testimony, right? Like personal experiences. So it's not like much of an academic exercise for me. So we are going to be very as free and as practicable, as we want to. So I've been asked to speak on the complete man, right? The word complete is really very interesting, because it's as good as we are not accepting half-bred to be better than bones, as some people would say, or half-bred better than none. For something to be complete means you are talking about the full proportion. You are not even going to be satisfied with 70%. You need a feel of the 80 and then add 90 to it. And then when it's 100%, then we can say to be complete. And, like he's working. When something is complete, you say it is perfect, it is ideal. And like in all honesty, why this topic I consider is very important is we actually live in a world where there's really much more expectation now. Even like men that want to marry, they place much expectation on their women. Perhaps like, oh, if I can get a nurse and we go to Canada, she makes the money, and many of them actually get disappointed along the way. Or like a woman that is very prayerful and sorry to disappoint you, it's said that you actually know whether a woman is a Christian when she marries, because the shoutings and the prayer band might not really be enough to confirm sustainability. So men actually look out for all of these things. And sadly also, rather than being the head of the family, many men are also losing out on that edge. And so I consider this as very important to be able to take like possession of our lives, both in terms of relating with ourselves, building ourselves to achieve our, greatest dreams and goals, and also like the financial stability, interpersonal relationship relating with people, and most importantly, actualizing your purpose. And that's what a completeness will suggest. But then I want to start this conversation by asking us, like, if you ask an average lady in her early 20s, right? What her ideal man would be, I'm sure that what you're going to hear will give you like a very clear picture of what like a perfect man is close to. So you see like many women like describing like almost like two extremes in one person, right? They want an outgoing man that is capable, he has physique. Some may even go as far as desiring a man that has 6 packs. And at the same time, the man is God-fearing, he loves God. At the same time, they may also say, when a lady actually said the man should be caring, and the word caring actually means he should be financially stable. Or when he said generous, certainly you cannot give what you don't have. It's a fact of life. So, but then if we cast our mind to like some of those kind of things that the ladies say, it will give us like a clear picture. Or they want those that are God-fearing, very important, financially stable, kind, generous. Some may even mention handsome, physique, the body built, intellectually sound. I'm sure like sometimes when you go on Instagram, Facebook, check some ladies' accounts, you will begin to see one particular vocabulary. Maybe you have to confirm for me if you've seen this vocabulary when people say sapiosexual, and you've actually tried, you were able to know the word sapiosexual, from a lady's profile, you eventually checked what it was. Can anyone confirm to me? If you, I want to know if I'm the only one that get to hear from ladies, or maybe see on people's profile those that claim to be sapiosexual. Maybe you can either unmute the mic and say something or just type in something, right? I just want to confirm something. Are we still together?
Yes, sir. A sapiosexual is someone that is attracted to intelligent people.
Okay. So how did you? What motivated you to? Was it from a novel or from a lady's profile, or from conversation that you saw that and decided to know the meaning?
I saw it on someone's profile too.
Okay, perfect. Is there another person that have seen that? Like a lot of people claiming I'm sapiosexual. What that means is, I get attracted to intelligence. You can only maybe stir me up in terms of like body chemistry, or being my ideal man in that aspect. If you actually have the intellectual capacity, and intellectual capacity, it's part of the thing we are going to like discover. Like, the mind is a world of endless possibilities. And I tell you, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Friends, if I maybe let me dwell a little bit here, I will still come back to it. But over time, I've really practically experienced that anything, just like I think it was Norman Peale that said this, he said, anything conceivable by the mind, believable, right, is achievable. Anything that is conceivable and believable by the mind is achievable. There's no other better way to put it, and it's in tandem with what the wise preacher said, that whatever a man thinks in his, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And I suggest also that that same scripture can be paraphrased to actually mean that as a man would want to be, so he must think. If actually your thought defines you, right? It's the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he, right? So that means your emergence is directly proportional to your thinking. So what that means is that rather than just allowing the thoughts to be upon you and determine your current situation, maybe let's say with the state of things in Nigeria at the moment, there is despair, people are saying a lot of negative things, and then you also find yourself like trapped in the quagmire because your thoughts limits. Like when someone is like, this money we make in the Nigeria at the moment, what can even be enough? There is so much of frustration. What can somebody achieve? Marriage is off the track. The money is not there. So, but then there's another person that will now begin to think and say, well, you see what? I can be better than this. I can be more. I am bigger than this. And he's actually thinking solution, not worrying, because there's a difference between worrying and thinking. Worrying does not change anything, but thinking changes everything, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And then we can also put it this way: as a man would want to be, as a man desires to be, so he must think, right? So our thought life is actually one of the most powerful tools. And I can tell you the simple truth that, I'm somebody that, at a point I developed that culture of thinking. And meanwhile, the Bible also promises us that whatever thing we can think, we can ever ask, think, or imagine, that God can even do beyond that. Sometimes if you can't even think the possibility, if you can't imagine it. If you can't imagine it, you can't even ask for it. So you just keep praying like things you think is within the competence of God, right? Without actually knowing that, God is limitless. It's when you really begin to think big thoughts that you can begin to see the possibilities. And like really, one of the thoughts I began to think like just some few years back, having opportunity gracing United Nations and all the rest of it. And interesting thing, I was like, if out of the 3 major headquarters, right, of the United Nations in maybe either the one in New York or Geneva, Switzerland, or the one in Vienna, if I can visit any one of them and had the opportunity to engage there, I'll be satisfied. I'll be happy. And just by thinking, believing, started also searching out for opportunity in that direction. Friends, I can confirm to you with all humility that these 3 headquarters have been able to like step in there, right? Whether it's the UN Geneva, whether it's the UN New York, whether it's the UN Vienna. So never lose, don't make anybody, not even yourself, to belittle your thought life, because it's a world of endless possibilities. And you don't leave your mind to worrying. You actually, rather, engage your mind to produce for you. Because let me tell you the simple truth. You will not be great. You're already great. You have the seeds of greatness. All you just needed to do, all that you need to fulfill purpose, it's already deposited in you. You already have that seed. All you just need is to create the enabling environment, whether maybe through knowledge, personal development, mentoring, staying in the right environment, and you watch yourself grow. You watch yourself begin to think possible thoughts. You watch yourself begin to leverage on possibilities, not on, just like, for instance, like the internet. The internet connects the world, right? Many of us actually, if we decide to just spend 40 minutes of the time we spend just chatting that don't bring money, it doesn't bring anything. Like, I'm on all social media platforms, but of course I limit, everything is strictly business for me, right? Everything has to be what has to advance my life forward. But if some people can actually invest much of that time, maybe to search for opportunities on LinkedIn, maybe you're looking for masters abroad, PhD abroad, anything, just, search with focus, search on platforms. If we visit those platforms, as much as we visit, the social media platforms, one thing could just click. And guess what? In life, you don't need 2 major breakthroughs. Please, if you forget anything, Don't forget this. You don't need 2 major breakthroughs. You don't even need 2 men. You don't need 3 men. Just one person, right? And it's sometimes it's in the course of being on the path of destiny, doing what you ought to do. You could just get that one major link that will begin to connect you to many opportunities. You could just get one major breakthrough that will be like a quantum leap from all the limitations you've known before now. But guess what? Opportunities are only available to those that believe that there are opportunities somewhere. If someone believes that, nothing, you look out for nothing, you expect nothing, you pray for nothing, certainly nothing comes to such a person. So please, never lose optimism. It's one of the greatest momentum any man needs. Always believe in possibilities. Have the I can do spirit. Believe that you have all it takes, and then while even improving on yourself, never give up. Keep on pushing, right? Consistency. Once you stay at it, think about it, pray about it, and then the most important thing also, like connect, like I identified in my book in Think Global. I said, whatever feature you desire today, is someone else present. Maybe you want to be a doctor, you want to get to United Nations, you want to do your PhD. Are there not people who already have PhD? Are there not people who have been to United Nations? Are there not people who have done this? So I now suggested the smartest way to actually connect to the future will be to connect with those people in that desired future you want, who are already living in it. Connect with them today. And you won't lose focus. You will stay focused. But then, having said that, like that about I spent time to talk about thinking. I will still review some of those things I mentioned. As you remember, we started the conversation by asking a young lady who still have age on her side to describe an ideal man for you. And many of us, when you hear those young ladies, you bring out your CV and say, well, I am God-fearing. I'm handsome, yes, I can confirm that. But she says she needs somebody financially stable, right? She needs someone that is ambitious. She needs someone in this career path. You are like, okay, I think I meet, her expectation. But of course, that sadly, as ladies also get more mature, they could lower those standards. But I think when you actually listen to those of them that are pretty, very young, they give you a roadmap, a blueprint of all that is desirable, in that complete man that should be looked up to as a leader, as a leader. Many women also will tell you, those young ladies, and say, a man that can take a stand, have a sense of direction, not afraid to take steps, someone I can look up to. My friend, once you are born a man, you are born a leader. You must provide direction, and as a matter of fact, even if you don't get to lead in an association or in the church or in a community, by the virtue of being a man, guess what? Once you get married, begin to have children, the greatest and the strongest test of leadership is in the home. You can lead an empire and then have a woman that leads you and the empire by proxy, right? So it actually takes a man who is really truly a leader. He's, when you even come close to him, you will discover that he has that strength, right? It's not just somebody some forces are under, using him as figurehead, like many men are. And it's really very sad. Even when you are in a relationship, start practicing how to be a man. Maybe the lady say, where do you think we should go? And every time you're like, any place, just any place you want. Any place first time, second month, any place you want, third month, any place. My brother, you are truly loyal. You don't really understand what it means to be a man. Yes, I know, yes. Of course, it's good to listen to other people's opinion. It's part of interpersonal skill. But I want to put it to you that if you're a man and you seem to be directionless, anyone they ask you, I don't know, what do you have to say? I have nothing to say. And what is your position on this? I have nothing to. Listen to me. A real man does not, instead of him not to take a stand, especially in adversity, he will prefer to be in the wrong place than not to take a stand. The worst kind of people to fear are those that stand on the fence, right? They stand on the fence. And it's really, really it's not something that is expected of a real man. Some of these ladies also will tell you, oh, I need a man that will motivate me to pray, not just a man who wants a praying wife. You know, it's really interesting how we transfer spirituality and the role of prayer in the home to mothers, right? You know, but some of these young ladies are realizing, yes, I mean, I don't just have to be praying. I'll pray for my children. I'll also pray for a man who has chosen to become a prayer point, right? I'm burdened about the man, you know, the times he come back, you know, his exposures and all the rest of it. And I'm burdened and I'm praying, visiting one man of God to another. Like some ladies also will tell you plainly, I want a man that will motivate me to pray. I want a man I can look up to and I feel motivated, you know, on a sustainable level. And then ladies also want like that visionary guy, that achiever, that ambitious guy, and then someone, of course, who is emotionally intelligent. So what I will just do, like in the remaining minutes that is left, right, would just be like to say a few more things about like this, just wrapping our mind. What I just did was to use like a practical analogy to bring out really what are those components, what are those dimensions that actually make like a real man, right? You know, that really distinguish him. And of course, let me start from like our spiritual life. One of the things you'll be very quick to notice, even when people, some people out there could just try to play out of maybe either the Christian faith or whatever thing. One thing is notable: there's really no man that is doing any strong thing globally that is not connected to some sorts of either spirituality, supernatural, or whatever. But of course, part of their strategy would be why they service their own altar, they want to downplay on your own. But I want you to carefully look, whether it's a Bill Gates or an Elon Musk, some will even say they're atheists, right? They have altars, it's a fact. And every married man must actually understand that life is beyond just being mentally sound, physically strong. There is also like the fact that the spiritual controls the natural, and it's a fact, right? Those who understand, understand. Anyone that don't understand should pray to understand, because some people who don't really say, I don't believe in all this. Well, you know, when jungle mature, you know, everybody start looking for how to get spiritual, how to seek for some forms of intervention. So a real man also don't have to pray with the altar. And then in terms of financial stability, I would just recommend two quick things. I know there will still be a section for, you know, to have that pure conversation by one of the speakers. But two things: understand that money is only what you get in exchange of values rendered, right? So always think value before you think money. Don't be so obsessed with money that you lose sight of the fact that you have to bring something on the table to get something. The simplest way to understand money is to look at its origin, and that is trade by barter. If I bring nothing to the table, I certainly will not go with anything, right? So that's it. So I now apply it to now you have a legal tender. For someone to give you this legal tender to represent temporarily until, right? You know, when you will not need that money, maybe to get some value from people. Because money, what money just does is it delays an immediate exchange from one of the trading partners. That's what money came in to do as a replacement to trade by barter. But of course, the origin of money suggests that if you've got no value to bring to the table, you ain't go with any value. And then, of course, you now also talk about, oh, kind, generous, you know, happy man. One of the things I also recommend to everyone is try to be happy. Try to find happiness in all you do, right? Try to, you see, life is already, there's already lots of tension, right? One of the things you just have to do, like, I mean, people meet me daily, and some people, even before they meet me, they ascribe one kind of pride. Oh, because maybe, oh, they think, oh, you're popular, then you should be proud and all the rest of it. I discovered the easiest way to live life is to live a simple life. Life is already complex, right? Too complex to make it even more complex. So try to be happy, derived, like, I mean, when I have over 100 staff that are working for me. When, you know, I play with my staff, like, so, oh, chairman, my boss, you know, just play, just try to find fun around everything don't have to be like looking serious all of the time. And you truly know that, yes, you're looking serious. Yes, it seems you're achieving, but people around you, because you are not happy, you can't even also transfer that happiness. And people are not happy either serving you or working with you, right? So one of the things also you have to like integrate as part of your proper development will be not just to grow in favor with God, like the scripture recorded for Christ, but also favor with men. Learn interpersonal skill. It really like saves you from a lot of stress, right? That's a fact we have to like realize, interpersonal skills. And then developing intellectually, it has to take like a deliberate step, exposing yourself to like things that get you to think. Maybe most of the time you do more of news above like movies, right? Do reading above pressing phone. Do just you have to be like very deliberate. And guess what? In every one of us, it looks like it's an automatic setting. You know things that should be priorities, but of course, sadly, in 21st century, everyone is struggling to stay on the path of destiny, right? I mean, it takes a whole lot to stay focused. Yes, you know. Do I need to tell you that reading is important? But of course, I could tell you, and the moment you carry book to read, or you just see maybe a message drop on your WhatsApp and you want to check out, and then the person is like, "Oh, how was your day? Have you eaten today? Is this rain falling on your side?" And at the end of the day, you close the book. Perhaps by delving further into that book, one idea would have struck your head that that we spark up something. To generate ideas, you have to be very intentional. Ideas oftentimes come as at the intercept of two or more ideas. From it generates another one. It's just like an angle. An angle is formed where two or more lines meet, right? So the same thing also happened with idea. So you don't just sit back and be saying, God, give me idea. I need idea. You'll be hitting your brain. No. Expose yourself, connect with the right people, listen to some lectures, listen to seminars, expose yourself to books, have a knowledge map. A knowledge map is, study on subjects based on your perceived need at the moment as an individual and the growth you think you need as a person. And then let me now end with this. Don't forget that as a man, success is not a destination. It's a consistent process. Always have your eye on the future. Always believe that you are not resting on your oars, right? Don't lose sight of like something greater, that the biggest room in the world is actually the room for improvement. So as you get to one level, you don't relax there. You keep pressing, right? It can only be better the more you strive for higher and higher heights. And I'm happy to see all of you at the top. Once more, thank you for having me. And if there is room for question, maybe I'll be happy to maybe share some thoughts. Thank you once more.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, CEO. It's been an engaging session. Thank you very much. I want to believe that everyone connected on this session has been busy like me, taking down notes, taking down insights, taking down nuggets from all that CEO has been saying. Okay, he started off by directing us to making an intro, trying to let us reason together as to what we see around, especially among the female folk, who exactly a complete man is. And then from there, he moved on to the consideration of the role that your mind plays as an individual. Okay, the role that your mind plays as an individual. One thing he said that caught me is that he said that anything believable by the mind is achievable by the hand. Anything believable by the mind is achievable by the mind. Okay, so I would like each and every one of us on this call, right? I want us to do something right now. So please, I would like each and every one of us just unmute yourself. Okay, unmute yourself. And if you can, I would like you to turn on your camera too. Just unmute yourself and hold your right hand on your chest. And let's say this together. Anything believable by my mind.
My mind. Anything believable by my mind
That
is achievable.
I didn't hear everything.
Can we do that again? Can we do that again? Anything
Yes.
believable by my mind.
Anything believable by my mind
By my mind.
Is achievable by my hand.
is
Is
achievable
achievable by my
by my
hands.
hands.
All right, all right, all right, everyone.
Mind
So
is
please,
achievable by my hand.
Yeah.
all right. So please, everyone, you cannot mute yourself again. Thank you all very much. So please, let this be let this be at the back of your mind at all times. Let this be at the back of your mind. That anything believable by your mind is achievable by your hand. Let it be at the back of your mind at all times. Okay. So as a complete man, let this be at the back of your mind. If you can believe it, you achieve it. Okay. Now, as also he pointed out by making reference to a verse in the book of Proverbs, I think Proverbs 21 or thereabouts, where the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Okay. So, and he said, as a man desires to be, so should he think. As a man desires to be, so should he think. So, however you desire to be, start thinking that way. Start thinking that way. If you desire to be a complete man in all completeness of what makes a complete man, start thinking what in the completeness, in that completeness. Okay, start thinking in it. If you desire to be successful in your business, on your job, start thinking in that success. And if you are a student, if you're in an academic, if you're a student just like me, okay, and desire academic success, start thinking in that success. Okay, start thinking in it. All right. So anyhow, whatever you desire, so must you think. So thank you very much, CEO. It was an amazing session. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to take one or two questions. I don't know if anyone has any questions. So please, if you have any question in the chat box, kindly indicate. Let me know that you have a question, or you could use raising the hand raise icon. The hand raise icon just indicate that you have a question, and I'll call upon you. Okay, use the emoji or use the hand raise icon, whichever one is accessible to you, and indicate, and I'll call on you and you ask your questions. Okay, so we only have room for one or two questions, all right, because we need to move as quickly as possible. All right, so any question from anyone? Any question? Okay, so while we wait for the questions, to come in from the participants, sir, I have a question for you. I don't know if you are still on the call.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Please, when it comes to becoming a complete man, could you share with us the role responsibility plays in one becoming a complete man? What role does responsibility play?
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, when you talk about responsibility, they start with the basic facts permitted to be a liability, either to ourselves or people around us. So like any place where you are, you want to add value to yourself and value to people around. So for instance, as a young person, let's say you find yourself in your uncle's house and you are expecting him maybe someday to settle you to go back to school. You see his cars, you can't wash it. You see his clothes, you allow him to go to the dry cleaner. that would not be responsibility, especially when you abandon those things and you're watching television, doing some other things. So being responsible simply means, to let everybody know that you are there, right? Your presence should be significant. I mean, when there is a call for duty, or perhaps not even a call, but something to be done, you just simply say that I am here, right? Because this question you asked just, made me one time. I just cast my mind back when I was doing my first degree. I could remember it was like a call in my class. Then people will eat granuts, dump it. I mean, the hall we used to use for lectures then. I mean, everything like so dusty for months. It was not swept. I mean, exaggerate. And what I did actually call when nobody was around, fetched water, and then came with a broom. I was sweeping for hours, and after that, I started cleaning. When I was doing that, there was that consciousness that I was, God was going to bless me, right, for this sacrifice I was giving to my class. I wasn't doing that to get noticed. But one of the things that really shocked me was how can all of us be in this class learning and we are not feeling the need to do this? So taking responsibility simply means when there is need for someone to speak up, be the one whose voice will be heard. When there is need for someone to do the work, be the one. When there's need for someone to be the one to cast the first stone, in terms of, oh, people are waiting, oh, we fix meeting. Some people are waiting, I don't want to be the first. A responsible person will say, no, I should be the first, right? I mean, you take responsibility for. I mean, my friends actually, like some of my associates I began to have when I began to get interested in politics. The normal culture that many of them had was you could fix an appointment with someone for 7 p.m. and the person maybe by 7:15 has not come. 7:30, you call the person and it's like, I'm about preparing. But over time, I made them understand that no, that is not the way to do things. And I hear many of them like, so today I learned punctuality because of my association with CEO, because I won't let that happen. I'm going to frown on it. I'm going to rebuke you as though you are my student. In fact, I will call you just shortly before then to say, we have an appointment. Where are you? That's what it means to be responsible. I mean, there's no way you can have an appointment with someone. You are not there. You are not even showing off about it. And I mean, like, some people even do what is really funny. Have you had some issues where someone have an appointment with you, right? The person did not show up. The person also never reached out. That's how people that feel that I don't really owe you any explanation, right? A responsible person, when you make mistake, which of course nobody can be beyond mistake, when you err, responsible people say, I am sorry. That's what truly makes to be a man, right? In all dimension, take responsibilities. When I'm sorry, I'm sorry. When I have to apologize, it doesn't reduce you. It doesn't take away anything from you.
All right, all right. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, a quick one, because you mentioned key points, and then you highlighted how you came to when you came into the political space and your experiences in that space. How you began, becoming a sort of influence around people that associate with you, and just like John C. Maxwell said, he said that leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. And I feel that this is where a whole lot of persons have a disconnect as to what exactly leadership is. What exactly leadership is, okay? For instance, I've always had the concept, and you also mentioned something interesting. You said that once you are born a man, you are born a leader. You mentioned that while you were delivering your lecture, that once you are born a man, you are born a leader. And that made me begin to think. At the same time, it made me remember the teachings of the late Miles Muro, okay, who stressed so much about uh, 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 about the presence of the leadership seed or the spirit of leadership, as you would say, in every man. So long you are leading, there is that potential for leadership. So my question, talking about responsibility now and leadership too. So these together, how will someone, a young man who is listening to us right now, who's participating in this conference, a young man who will still get opportunity to watch a replay of these conversations, how would you recommend that the person go about developing his leadership skills? How would you recommend that the person go about developing that sense and attitude of responsibility? Okay, so sir, please could you let us know just in a few minutes?
This thing keep breaking the network. But if I understand your question, are you talking about maybe how maybe men could develop themselves for leadership, or how they can you just
okay, I don't know if I'm clear enough now.
summarize? It was cutting, so I can hear you like it was breaking before.
Okay, all right. So my question is, how would you recommend to a young man listening to us currently, or a young man who is still listening to a replay of these conversations, how would you recommend that the person go about developing his leadership skills and at the same time developing his sense and attitude of responsibility? How would you recommend to such a young man who is asking this question?
Yeah, the most important thing actually, about developing as a person, you always discover like in leadership is very much like what happens in genetics, right? Hereditary. If even in ministry, right? If a young man submits himself to like a careless priest or pastor, he'd also have a way like of influencing. In fact, even the things you call achievements, if the person that maybe, like say for instance, the pastor that raised you, is somebody that believes, oh, you don't handle a man of God this way, I mean man of God, he threatens people with fire. Before you know, you begin to talk that way, right? So like I tell people, if you want to be a leader, conscientiously choose the people that you think can not only be your role models, but the right kind of influence you want replicated in your life. Once you get that and conscientiously submit to it, you just watch yourself grow as a leader. Don't forget, like everything in life, if you want to become a medical doctor, you just simply get into medical school, listen to other doctors. Like when they do debates in a primary school, then they say teachers are better than doctors, because teachers taught doctors, Abi. But not teachers that went to TC2 that produce doctors. You need doctors to teach doctors. So when you spend 6 years to listen to doctors, you become a doctor. You spend 5 years to listen to lawyers, you become a lawyer. You spend 5 years to listen to engineers. So it's all about finding yourself in the company. So a company of the wise, we end wise, but a company of fools will be destroyed. So your company actually, like when I tell people your friend is your end, right? So so it's when you just choose that this is the kind of thing I want, what is the kind of results I want. Just find yourself in it, and you just find that like being replicated. So just look at the biggest leaders you know. If it's in the ministry, right? Like maybe like churches. Look at big churches, the renowned pastors you know, or reverend fathers. Look at people that are under them, right? You just see like a replication. If the person that is on top is very humble, have depth in the word of God, the same thing also will be replicated, right? Mostly for those that truly follow, because you have genuine followers. So submit yourself to the right kind of leadership. Number two, it's in the course of submitting when tasks are now given to you and you accomplish that task, then you are becoming more responsible. So the thing And I think why this second question is very important is many young people always complain, oh, he's using me. But until you are used, you can't be useful, right? The simple truth. Let me say this, please. If you forget every other thing, don't forget this. Please don't forget this, right? Now, many of us as young people will come and say, I want you to be my mentor, right? And what we actually have in the mind is perhaps that person that is far, far ahead of me, I want anytime I come into his space and into his time, he leaves everything and give me 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, and start lecturing me, right? As per se, somebody that will be on his level very soon, right? As a but mentoring actually doesn't happen that way, right? Do you know when mentoring starts? When you win the heart of the mentor, right? It's something that may not happen in a moment. It takes a process for the person to really prove that truly, right? You actually is meant for something great. And something great oftentimes is assessed in how you handle things that are little. So you are faithful in little things, right? Then you can be faithful in something that is great. And that's how life works, right? That's how life works. So I need us to appreciate that particular principle that like sometimes you might just be hoping, oh, if I come, let it just be someone. So now let me just now use this final illustration to help you understand that. Now, some people actually get to learn how to bake cake, and you can spend 3 months with a boss, 6 months without the person actually teaching you the secret of a good cake. All you are just seeing is, just from the, outside, and you just wonder why is it you do your own cake and it's not as good as that. There may just be just one out of the 5 ladies that are learning who also is available to help her in events, assists, goes around there, runs. All others feels that I paid for this training and that's why I'm here. Eventually, that moment you can just call you and say, you come. And that's what happens. So guess what? Until you sap people to the extent that you win their hearts, do not expect that you really see the mentor. You might just see them and there's nothing that looks extraordinary about them. And because you're already proud, you just feel like, I think I'm even more emotionally mature than this person I think I want to learn, right? Look at even the way he coordinates himself. He can't even keep his environment very organized. You have not come with a heart to learn. You have not come with a heart, that is really focused and not distracted. You know what you want, right? And listen to me, until you win the heart of my heart, you won't truly know the things that has worked for me. There are things, it might just be linking you up to one relationship. Just check your own self. How many people can you really trust with your relationship? When the person don't know how much you've invested in that relationship, what even the relationship means for you the first time, all the person is interested in is, once I get this person's contact, I will tell him my problem and he's going to help. Life is never designed to work that way and has never worked that way. So taking responsibility means be a process person. And you see yourself not only grow, but also build relationship and also get fruitful over years.
Wow, wow. That's that is a masterclass on its own. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for expanding on that idea of leadership responsibility, and then going a step further to intimate us with the right concept or the right idea or the right approach to follow towards mentorship. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so it appears we don't have any more questions from any of the participants. So we really really want to appreciate you for making our time to be with us here. Thank you very much for making our time out of your busy schedule. Thank you. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
You're most welcome,
Thank
sir.
you very much, sir. Yes, sir.
And
Thank you
I
very much.
encourage you all, ensure you participate in all the section. I'm sure, I'm very convinced that the speakers are ready. And so just try to get as much as you can get the value, don't be distracted. And we hope that after this summit, we'll be meeting a lot of complete men at the top. So once more, thank you. And I beg to take my leave.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. And enjoy the rest
You're
of
welcome.
your evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So everyone, if the first session of the conference was like this, wow, just imagine what we have in store for the remaining sessions of the conference. Just imagine for a moment what we have in store for the remaining sessions of the conference. All right, so I want to appreciate everyone that has stayed glued up to this moment. Thank you all for staying connected up to this moment. All right, so quickly we are going to be moving on to the next session that we have. The next session that we have is the panel session. Okay, we are going to have some young men who are doing amazingly well in their spheres, who are doing amazingly well for themselves, who are doing amazing work, creating impact, providing services, providing value to the society. So we are going to be having a session with them focused on understanding how the place of a supportive network to the conversation we are having about a complete man. So what role does a supportive network play to the concept or to one becoming a complete man? All right. So to moderate this session, I will be inviting Mr. Promise Mba. Mr. Promise Mba, not the one in Canada, the one in Abuja, Nigeria. So I'll be inviting Promise Mba. He is the one that will be moderating this session. Promise, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Promise.
you. I can hear you.
All right. So Promise will be moderating this session. He'll be introducing the panelists who will be participating in this session, and he will take it off from there. Promise, over to you.
Thank you, Victor. I think you guys took almost half of our time. Well, that's notwithstanding, we're going to take some of of the others. Well, it's fine. Good evening, everyone. My name is Promise. Very nice to have you all here. And then I'm very happy about the sessions that we have lined up for this event. And the first one has been amazing. And I really hope and believe that we've been learning so much from it. So what we're going to be talking about in this session is we're going to be talking about the complete man. We'll talk about the need for a supportive network. So we're just going to basically looking at how we can leverage our network as young people, as young men, and we have women here too, as young men and women to be able to, achieve that aim to become complete, wholesome man. So when Victor was doing his introduction, he mentioned something. He said, we do not exist in isolation. And I'm very happy he mentioned that. Even the keynote speaker, the CEO, he talked about that, he touched it. He said we should expose ourselves and connect and meet people and network. So I think since they have been laying emphasis on that, it's really something very important we should take note of. Success is not just about how hardworking you are. There are other factors on that. So during the session, the panel discussion, we'll get to learn more about that, and there will be room for your questions and interactions from everyone here. So I'm going to be introducing the panelists. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to be introducing the panelists. I'm supposed to have 3 people here who will be joining me, but unfortunately, one person is not available due to health conditions, but the other 2 are here. So I will be introducing Billy. So Idris, Billy. I call him Billy. He's a very good friend of mine. His name is actually, I cannot pronounce the name. That's why I call him short form Billy. So Billy is the CEO of YAPD, Youth Awareness for Development, for Peace and Development in Africa, for Africa rather. So here he's going to be joining us in the panel. He's a social development activist. He's also a Queen's Youth leader, and he's a multiple award-winning social impact and community development advocate. So he won, what's the award he just won recently? He will just tell us about that. So he has done amazing grassroots work, especially in the north. So he's based in Kaduna, and most of his work are on civic engagement and civil rights. So I don't know if Billy is here. Yes, he's here. Billy, can you say hello? Can you just unmute and say hello so that we know you're here?
Hello, guys.
Okay, yes,
Hello,
he's here.
guys.
Billy, welcome. I can hear you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then I have Ifai. I have Eze Ifai Jenny. He's also here. So Eze Ifai Jenny is the founder and CEO of Quantum Tech. He was here from the beginning. I heard him introduce himself. So he's an entrepreneur and a tech enthusiast. His specialties are in business development, graphics and IT administration, and digital marketing. He has done various work in the digital space. He has managed teams and worked across different organizations. And he has also been with Double Edge Impact for some time now. So I'm going to be having these 2 amazing young persons talk to us about how they so far, in their journey of building their enterprise and life as well, how they have leveraged on their network to be able to make impact. So can you say hi?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the panel section.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So in case you have any question why the conversation is going on, you can just drop it on the chat. We'll take note of that. And then at the end of the discussion, we'll just answer them. If you want to channel your question to a particular panelist, you can just write it down with the person's name. I have Ifai and then I have Billy. So I'm just going to, we don't have much time, so we will not take so much time, and the other person can, take the stage. So I'll start with you, Ifai. I think you've been here from the beginning. So we've been talking about the complete man. So for me, I think when you talk about the complete man, you talk about someone that is like wholesome all around. You have all round growth in your health, in your finances, in your social life, and all that. So I want you to give us what's your idea of a complete man based on your own experience or based on what you've the session we just finished having. What's your idea of a complete man?
Okay, thank you so much, Aaron, and appreciate. Good evening, everyone. And once again, thank you so much for making me part of this great event. My own understanding of complete man is all encompassing and all dimensional. When we talk about complete man, as man is a tripartite complete man, as a man, we are tripartite being. That means that we have the spiritual aspect of us, the physical aspect of us, the soul, the mind, and everything. So when we talk about complete man, first of all, like the speaker has said earlier, the spiritual control the physical. You need first of all to deal with the spiritual aspect of you as a man. The spiritual aspect of you as a man need to be complete and encompassing. You need to connect to your creator. In whatever you are doing, you need to have a belief system. That's where your values, your goals, your drive, your worldview came from, where you base your navigation system on. Very important. Coming to the other aspects, which is the soul, the emotional aspect of you, your mind. We talk about the intellectual, we talk about emotional intelligence, we talk about reading books, we talk about knowledge, equipping yourself, we talk about skills. That is where is more important. And all those things concerns a lot of things about you. It concerns what you're processing and what you are thinking is. So is another aspect of man. We talk about the physical. You need to talk about your health. You need to talk about your grooming. As a man, as a complete man, you need to check all those things in place. You need to look good. You need to keep good for your body, make your body good. Eat healthy food. Don't eat junks. And try to eat more of organic foods to keep you strong. Because with your great visions and purpose, if your body is sick, it will die here. So your body is designed to live here on earth. It's like your earthly suit. So if you are not a competent in that area, you may die before your time. You may die before the vision is actualized. So, and it's a very serious case now in terms of mental health and stress. So as much as you can try, cut out the junks, try and eat more natural food, try and do other exercise that will make that your body strong to carry out other two aspects of complete man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ifaya. I think that was very wholesome. Of you went ahead to tell us even what we need to do as young persons to be able to get to that point of a complete man. So again, can you guys hear me? Sorry, I changed my device. I want to be sure you guys are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So thank you very much for that. So Billy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here with you.
Okay. So I was going through Instagram earlier today. I just want to make reference to that. I saw a post that said, let me just check. It said it was just mentioning what someone needs to do to be successful, and then it says we don't just need hard work. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Some persons believe that it's just hard work and passion that makes you, to be successful. But then there's a bigger part. That's where my question is coming from. Like, I don't really agree with that. I agree with the statement rather. It's not just hard work. So for you, Billy, do you think it takes just hard work, or are there more to it? For someone to say I'm successful and all that?
Yeah, I think you need more, more skills and more ways to support that you're hardworking, especially, through having a very supportive network.
Okay. I think that's fine. So there's a bigger part to just becoming successful, becoming a complete man. It takes more than just your hard work. It takes more than just your passion or your attitude. So there's a place of a supportive network, like he said. There's a place for influential relationships. and all that. So you just be sharing your experiences now. I think this is the major part. So Billy, we can start with you. How do you think your network and your relationship so far as a person has helped you to achieve where you are in life now, in your business and in your career, and the impact you're doing in your community? How do you think your network has been a part of that? Have your network have an impact on what you've been doing so far, and how has it been for you? So
Okay, first I would like to talk about your relationship, because I believe that relationships are everything. And it's very important in business, in our career, in our working space, and also in our personal lives. Because if you really want to achieve something in your life, you have to build a very strong relationship, not for the purpose of today, but generally for the future. And for me, through my network, I have tried to be well opened, to learn a lot of things from from other people who I believe we try to have meaningful relationship with them, trying to be involved in new things and gaining new experiences from that kind of people. And this has given me the confidence of going outside my own comfort zone, and I'm also trying to gain and build connection with those people to achieve my vision and what I really want to be in the future. And there is another way of building your network and being very reliable, you know through following through making sure that you keep your promises, and you be more committed to try to achieve your relationship with other people, especially trying to show other people that they can be dependent on you, and you can also build your trust with them and respect them very well. And I think this is an essential for us to create a meaningful relationship in order to for those people to support us in achieving our visions. I would also like to speak about being yourself always. If you really want to build a relationship and also support your network, you have to be very authentic in terms of engaging these people. Don't hide who you are to those people, and keep your promise within these people. Try to be genuine and be honest to this kind of people. And I think this this these skills and the way I try to connect with people has helped me in leveraging these skills to expand my experiences with these people, and also they support the work I do personally and also in my own organization. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Billy, for that. That was wonderful, your experience. I picked a few things. He mentioned about the learning opportunities he has been able to gain from his network. So one thing I want to emphasize on is that for those of us that are still growing in our careers and all that, if you have a network of people around you who you are not learning from, I think it's not healthy. People where you have to just give and give and give and give, and then you're not gaining anything in return. You're not learning. You're not growing. That circle is not healthy for you as a young person. And then being yourself too. You mentioned it. You have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. You don't fake it. You show the real, like you don't put out what you don't have. So you have to be authentic, and then by doing so, you'll be able to have the support of your network around you. Because I'm not sure someone wants to encourage someone that is fake and then push out someone that is fake to others to see. So people will be more ready to help you when you are your real self. So, Mr. If I back to you, I think the same question. how has your network been supportive? How have your network helped you as a young person to achieve where you are in your career and building your business? Can you share your experiences with us?
Okay, thank you so much once again. I want to start with some examples here and there. In nature, God created everything to be dual. That means that if there is day, there is night. If there is winter, there will be summer. If there is rainy season, there will be dry season. In the smallest unit of the society, the father and the mother started a family, from there extended to nation and all those things. So in nature, networking is very important. We are interdependent on each other to succeed. Your network is your net worth. If you're a chicken, if you're an eagle and you are flocking with a chicken, you will end up losing your velocity of going flying higher altitude during the thunderstorm and wind. So in my experience, I will advise every young man out there, especially those that are still undergraduate days, undergraduate studies. Please, as much as you read books, as much as you get the best grade, as much as you do every other thing, try to build with people. I have to tell this, and I'm very sincere about it. Majority of people that have been supportive in my business, in laptop and phones, has been most of them that we school together in University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I'm telling you the truth, the pure truth about that. Because of the network I have built over time, I'm telling you the truth. So as a young man, anywhere you find yourself, find a place of being relevant to one another. You may not have the monies and everything. A good conservation, a good help, a good advice, a good supportive system in terms of word of mouth, in terms of encouragement, it goes a long way to build that network. Like the other day, I was going through the book, this book, Living the Tarmac by Megwado, the former CEO of Access Bank. He mentioned a very striking point there. He said that all he has been in the banking sector cannot go easily within without Herbert being his backbone then in Access Bank. Two of these young men came into the banking system and saw how the banking system was collapsing. They fought and they built a very standard bank that we are still known today as Access Bank. The same thing with Tony Elumelu. He talks about when he meets a one man then in bank, all star banks, the way the man put them together, build them, encourage them. They built one of the best bank in Africa, UBA. The same thing, you cannot talk about Apple and talk about Steve Jobs without Steve Jobs without Stephen Gray was You cannot talk about all those things. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk started as a common engineer. Elon Musk, before he started SpaceX, Elon Musk did not know anything about space exploration. He doesn't know anything about rockets. But mingling and working with all those astronauts, engineers, space tech engineers, within few years, he become an expert. Do you know most of the story that inspired me most? That do you know that Elon Musk will live in mansion and be sleeping in the garage and the workshop where they do all those things to make sure he mingle himself with that very network. So in my life as a young man, especially in this part of the world, I will advise you to build a very good relationship with people anywhere you see people, because it's one of the currency that you need for your next level. You can have all the monies in the world, but a good connection, a good network with good people can take you to kings, where kings and queens stay. That is what I want to advise every young man. Build your network gradually, take it easy, one step at a time. Whatever you do, be plain. If there is any mistake on the way, try to be open. This is what happened. Explain yourself to your next network. Be open. If yes, sometimes things may go wrong, but don't shy away from it. It's part of life. There is ups and downs of life. It's those stones that they throw at you that makes you build the biggest castle and mansion. Thank you so much. Networking is very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ifai, for that. That was very insightful. I am very happy how you went further from sharing your experience to even giving us examples of people who have, actually leveraged their own relationship to get to where they are in the society. Then he mentioned a few things I noted down. He said, your relationship is a currency. So beyond having just money and having assets and all, I think human relationship is a very good asset we should all have, because you may get into one situation or the other, and then your money cannot even solve it for you. But then you need people to be able to get out of such situation. Then he said your network is your network. Then he also mentioned that flock, let me just rephrase, with the popular adage, birds of same feather flocks together. So you build yourself based on the kind of people you associate with, you relate with. So when you are a wise person in the midst of four fools, let me use fools, I think over time you just change and become like them. But then if you are the unwise one in the midst of wise, let's say four wise persons, over time you see yourself as you just change automatically and become wise and reason in the same dimension with them. So if I need to, I think you've mentioned some of these, but I want you to also emphasize on them. As a young person, how can you build your meaningful relationship? What skills do you require to build meaningful relationship? Yes, we know the importance. Yes, we need to build meaningful relationship for the future. But what are the skills that we require? How do we build such skills? Do I need to know how to do this or this and this to be able to connect with people on a different level and all that? What are the skills that we require as young persons to be able to build meaningful relationship? Mr. Ifeanyi.
Okay, thank you so much again. The basic thing that connects human being to human being is emotional intelligence. Very, very important. That is the basic. You understand when somebody is angry, when somebody is sad, when somebody is happy, when there is a need to use some word, when there is time to joke. You understand emotional intelligence is a very all-encompassing. You understand boundaries. You understand when to talk. You understand when not to talk. You understand when to do a lot of things. That is the basic. Number two, you need to have an integrity. Very important. Graham, they say that if you lost the money, it can be recovered. If you lost your health, it can be manageable. But when you lost an integrity, it's very hard to get by. Like I said earlier, be open. We are humans. Even they say to err is humans, but to forgive is divine. There are sometimes things go on. Like for me, there's sometimes I supply electronics, phones and laptop. There's the issue. And we have a kind of warranty day. So if something happened, like the recent one of my classmates in school, I sent him a laptop in PH. So he complained about it. It's an open conversation. I told him that there is no problem there. This is an electronics. Use this thing in a period of this time. If you discover anything, return it, we will change it. And he returned the laptop and I changed it for him. So it's the kind of business we are into. You have to be open. You have to tell the truth no matter what. So that when something goes wrong, you will not be blamed. Even human being that God created, sometimes we face sick, sometimes things happen. Talk more of the ones that men build. So integrity is another big assets we need to have as a young people. Be open. If something goes wrong, look at it or look at how it is. Like I have seen a situation that maybe somebody borrowed you money, you block the person, you are not picking the call, you are not answering. Why? Why should you do that as a young people? Open, pick the call. Even though you are owing millions. Okay, sorry, I have not gotten the money. I will pay you later. It happened in businessmen, it happens there, many things. So these two things is very key important. You need that internal understanding of man as a total package. Man, we are very complex in nature. So you need that emotional intelligence and integrity. That is the major basic. I'm just want to drop this night. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that. He said we need emotional intelligence, and then he talked about integrity. Very important. Integrity, your relationship with people is how you are able to manage situations. You know when to talk to people and when someone is in the mood to have a discussion, a particular kind of discussion with you, and when the person is not in such mood, then you also know how to relate with people, especially in business. I'm very happy he mentioned that. I had a recent experience with that. I think maybe I can share it at the later end of the discussion. So when you're doing business with people, you have to, know how to maintain integrity, be truthful and open. He mentioned all that. And he also gave a personal experience with his business. Thank you very much for that. I think we're catching on. So Billy, can you also share with us what skills do you think, in addition to what he spoke about, emotional intelligence and then integrity, what other skills do you think we need as young persons to be able to build a very supportive network?
Okay, for me, I would like to talk more about communication skills because they are important in factors of building yourself to be successfully, maybe in your business or your career. We all know that people that are incredibly intelligent, but they lack the ability of communication skills. This limits their career progress or their business progress. So I would also like to speak about, in this kind of network, people are generally willing to help, but you have to build your communication skills because communication skills is very important in terms of communicating. Most of people nowadays that we are using digital networks, we lavish through our mails. You have to build your mail skills, and you also have to build how to communicate with people through your social media handles. We have a lot of influential people who are always on platforms. For me, I can just give an experiences that someone sent me a lot of money from another country that I just had a good communication with a lady, and she sent me to have my own first passport because I couldn't afford it that time. So this, if I didn't have a good communication with this woman, she can't even help me to acquire that passport that I needed in that time. So I would like to emphasize for all of young people who are trying to build up themselves, please try to build your communication skills. It's very important. Thank you.
Okay, communication skill is very important. How you talk to people and how you relate to people. So most of us don't even know how to compose a simple email. So we need to build on that, on how to relate with people. So you see some of us on social media, we are quick to react to trends and all that. You don't know where your next connection is. So we have to build that, like he mentioned. He shared his own experience. He said something, people are willing to help, yes, but then it depends on how you communicate your need. How do you communicate your need? So and my last question for the both of you is how you can leverage your network to advance. I think we've mentioned that. So we just take it like, how what advice can you give to us here, young people here, on how they can leverage. You've been given advices like a conclusive advice on how they can leverage their network. What situations do you think you need to get someone involved, especially for someone that is growing? Is it okay for you to just, maybe you have very personal issues, you just run to this person and then you share everything, you're expecting the person to help you financially or otherwise? What kind of situations do you think, and what kind of issues can we bring to people? Are there some certain persons you have to tell this? Are there some certain persons you have to discuss this with? So Mr. Ifai, I'll start with you. So like a conclusive advice for young people on how they can actually leverage their network to build themselves to become a complete man.
Thank you so much again, once again. I want to emphasize more on being consistent and focused and persistent. And again, I want to say this thing to any young men out there, any young women out there. We are in the social media age. You understand? You should be very careful the things you put out there. Is not every trend and every topic you should jump in. Like recently, there's a lot of forms I feel online, all those some of programs you want to learn, learn one or two courses online. Do you know that most of them ask your social media handles, some jobs? So all those things play a very great key role in your life. Don't be always posting. Just let your social media be tailored to your passion and your desire. Be careful what you put out there, because social media is like a mirror of yourself. It's a reflection of the person who you truly are. Do you know that most people don't need your CV again? They will just tell you, just send me your social media, and they will go there and check everything and know your thought process. They will know your value. They will know how consistent you are in what you are doing. They will use all those things to judge you. So that is the number. Be consistent in whatever you are doing. If you're a student, be consistent. If you are into academics, be consistent with it. If you learn any skill, be known. Be a man that is known for one thing. It's very, very important. Most of the things I do these days, I do it deliberately and consciously towards my line of business and career. It's not something that I'm just doing it so that I do it consistently. I do it intentionally. So that is what I want to advise every young man there. Be consistent and be careful of the things you do in your social media handles. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that. Be consistent in whatever you're doing. And then you should be mindful of the kind of things you put out there on social media. He said, what you put out should be tailored to your passion. So I don't look up your LinkedIn profile and then I'm seeing something that is different from what you're portraying yourself to be. So it should show what you're. So people, even recruiters nowadays, just go on LinkedIn or other social media platforms to just look up who is applying for a particular position. So through your post and your interaction on the platform, they will be able to know your thought process. So you'll be consistent. They will be able to know the kind of values, what you hold valuable. So you are putting out things that doesn't show a responsible person. So it will, all those things we put out there on social media help them to make decisions on the kind of person we are. So we should be consistent in doing what we aim, and then we should always put out things that are tailored to our passion. So Billy, your concluding advice for young persons on how to leverage their network?
Okay, for me, I would like to advise young people to stay very positive. You know, most people don't see returns straightly away and give up. But if you want to see results, you need to invest time into, you know, building your business and your career network for over an extent of period of time. And developing your business or your career network skills is a long-term investment, not just a short-term fit. So by remaining positive, you will ensure that when you do a final meet up with somebody that can help you, you will still be able to give both a great first expression, and also have a strong reason why they should like support you and support what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Billy. So your network is a long-term investment. So you should give people reasons why they should support you. Very interesting. I think it goes back to what Ifai mentioned about integrity. So how you relate with people and how open you are to them will give them very much reason why they should trust you, why they should do business with you, why they should support your business, why they should invest in your venture or whatever you're doing. So you have to give them that reason. It's a long-term investment, and it starts from now for some of us who are undergraduates. So this is the time you have to build that relationship with people you meet and all that. So we can take questions now. So if you have any questions, you can just indicate by raising your hand, or you can drop the question on the chat so that our panelists can take the questions if you have any question. So we've seen that the network is really important. The network we build based on the personal level or business level, it is very important. And it is also important that while we are building this relationship, we know how to leverage on them. We know how to leverage on those relationships. We know how to reach out to people, to ask them for certain help, to ask them to, collaborate and do some things together. You know how to do that. That's where your communication skill comes in place and your emotional intelligence. So do we have questions? Do we have questions? Do we have questions? While we're waiting for questions, okay, let me just share my experience. So my office recently had a remodeling. So we refurbished the office. We had to do some paintings, and also we contracted someone, a painter, to do the painting. So there was some kind of problem. So he wasn't able to deliver, so we had to get someone else to do it. But then we've already paid him. We've made some deposits to the person. But then he has not been forthcoming with paying back and refunding the money. And then he doesn't pick calls. And so if I was talking about the integrity, given his experience of how he was able to handle the situation he had with a customer in somewhere far. Okay, let's say this man assume that we cannot be able to trace him and all that, but you don't really know where your next big contract is coming from. It may be your neighbor, it may be someone you just had a one-time interaction with. But then how you're able to show that you are someone that can be trusted. Yes. Then we got a bigger contract for painting. So I thought about the man. Had it been this man delivered, or maybe he refunded and gave us reasons why he was not able to deliver, we would have reached out to him to, take this one. This is an opportunity. But he missed out on that opportunity. So we should be conscious of the kind of the way we relate with people. A network is very important, and we should also know how to develop these skills that are needed: emotional intelligence, your integrity, your communication skills. It will really help you to be able to, make use of the network you have. Thank you very much, Billy. Thank you, Ifai, for being on this panel. I have not gotten any questions yet, and I don't think any hand is raised. So I believe we've all been following. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. That's fine. So thank you very much. It was really a very nice session with you guys, and I really my paper is almost full. Like a page of my jotter is filled with the things I learned from this session. Thank you very much, Victor. I think we're done. So you can just take up, if there's any question, we can look at them later. So thank you. If I thank you, Idris. Victor, you can take over.
You are welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Wishing you all the best.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Promise. Thank you very much, Ifani. And thank you very much, Idris. Idris Biaminu. Thank you. Thank you very much for contributing to the ongoing conversations around who a complete man is and what makes up a complete man. Okay, the conversation has been around, what is a role of a supportive network towards the emergence or towards the continuous growth or towards the continuous advancement, towards the continuous promotion of the complete man. And like just like I Promise said, I've had to take down notes from everything being said. Ifani shared his experiences and even had to go a step further, quoting the experiences of people like Tony Elumelo and a number of others. That's that. When he was making reference to them, I was just smiling. All right. Okay. So personally, I've been a beneficiary of a supportive network. Sincerely, I've been a beneficiary of supportive network. When I look at my life trajectory up to this point, I see, apart from the grace of God, okay, one of the things I believe is that God's grace also includes men. Okay, God's grace also includes men. All right, God's grace also includes men. All right, so oftentimes, especially those who are of the Christian faith, when we speak of God's grace, we look at it entirely as something which is abstract. Okay, but one thing I've come to observe is this: oftentimes, or more often than not, okay, God's grace involves men or involves men. Okay, so that's one of the things I've come to realize. I've had a number of experiences. And I've come to prove this particular point. The role of a supportive network, in whatever you are doing can never ever be overemphasized. Come to think of it, when we look at the life of our Lord Jesus Christ, okay, he was the Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord everlasting, the Almighty. He came, he was God, and he came in as a man in the flesh, okay. But then when he had a ministry to run, he knew he couldn't do it alone. So he had to go about, building network with which he will be able to go about the ministry he wants to execute. Okay. So he go about building network, and every of the network he built those networks strategically. And I think that's one important point we need to emphasize tonight. Okay, whatever network or whatever connection you are building, you have to be strategic about it. Okay, you have to be strategic about it. All right. You have to be strategic about it. Saying the word strategic, made me remember a conversation I was having with a friend recently, and I kept talking about strategic relationship, strategic networking. And the person was like, you keep mentioning strategic. What exactly is strategic? Okay. So when I say building strategic relationship, building strategic network, it means you as an individual building connections with a clear goal in mind, building connection with a clear goal in mind. Okay, I see a number of persons, they go for events and they try to connect with everyone in the event. Hello, you are a human and you are limited in the number of persons you can effectively be connected to at a time. And the more you try to connect with everyone, you connect with no one. The more you try to connect with everyone, you connect with no one. So being strategic in your relationship building entails that you take a look at your life, take a look at where you are. Okay, take a look at where you are coming from, take a look at where you are, and take a look at where you hope to get to. Who is important at this present point in time, at the place where you are? Who is important? Who do you need at the place where you are in order to get to where you need to get to? Okay, so connect with who is important, who is relevant at that level. All right, and then move on to where you need to be. So that is what it means to be a strategic in your relationship building. Okay, never connect with anyone without a goal in mind. Without a goal in mind, please, it's very, very much important. I've I'm someone that I've enjoyed, like I said, I'm someone that I've enjoyed tremendously from my relationships with people. Okay, I'm someone that I've enjoyed tremendously from my relationship with people. The next speaker will be having speak to us this night is someone that is a good example of what I'm saying. Okay, is a good example of what I'm saying. Okay, a supportive network, a supportive relationship. He has been a great support. He has been a great support to the vision of the double-edged impact network. He has been a great support to what we do within the organization. He has been a great support. You know, I can't really count how many times he had saved me. I can't really count how many times he had saved me. Even this night before we came on live for this conference, we spent time talking, and it was all full of words of encouragement, words of wisdom, words of counsel. You understand? So these are things I'm talking about: strategic network. Strategic network. People are relevant to where you are, and people are relevant to where you are going to. Okay, so you have to what? You have to carefully look out for them, carefully identify them, and carefully connect with them, carefully build relationship with them. So thank you all very much, all of our panelists. Thank you for contributing to the conversations we are having in this year's Young Men Conference. I really appreciate you all for taking our time to be part of these conversations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so before we go further, I would like to know if anyone has from the two sessions we've had so far. I would like to ask from our audience this night is, do we have persons who would like to share with us, one or two things you've learned, or one or two insights you've got from the two sessions we've had so far in the course of this conference, one or two insights you got in the course of this conference. So please kindly indicate in the chat box so that I will see you, and then I will call on you, and then you unmute yourself and then speak to us. One or two persons share with us the insights you've got from the conversations so far, whether from the session that CEO gave or from the panel session. One or two persons. All right, so Emmanuel Chukweto, please kindly kindly unmute yourself and then share with us the insights you've gotten so far. Immediately, immediately you finish. Chiemere Odinaka, you go next. Immediately Emmanuel finishes, Chiemere Odinaka, you go next. All right, Emmanuel, please, over to you.
Yeah, good evening once again. Thank you so much. I'm Emmanuel Chukweto from Enugu. Well, I received a lot. I learned a lot this evening. It's a wonderful section. So, especially from the CEO. So before now, I was thinking about there is a statement CEO made that you don't need too much breakthrough just I underline that word. That you don't need too much breakthrough because when I'm fighting, I fight for this, I fight for this, I fight for that. You know, trying to kill yourself, trying to strangle yourself because you want to achieve it all. So it's the important thing for me now is for me to maintain consistency. I learned the importance of persistence, consistency, anything worth doing well. So even if you have one, even if I have two, maintain it, be consistent, be open, be honest. That is one thing I learned from the CEO. Then from the two sessions we handled now, from the two guys, Idris and the other brother, I think I learned something about communication. My type of person, I'm not really good in communication, but it's something I will develop because it's important. It's very, very important. So that is one or two things I learned. There are more, but let me drop these two. Thank you very much and God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Reverend. Thank you. Thank you very much for the contributions. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Chimere Odinaka, please. You cannot unmute yourself now and speak to us. Chimere.
Okay. I thank you. I am enjoying the training. I have learned the definition of being a complete man. It has to do with the spiritual aspect of a person and your it also connects with our emotions and the ability to take care of ourselves as individuals, how people see us, how we present ourselves to people. And also, I have learned to stay positive and be persistent. When we are persistent and remain positive in whatever thing we are doing, it will help us to leverage ourselves in our businesses and the things we are engaged ourselves on. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chimere. Thank you very much. You highlighted a very important point there. You know, the place of positive attitude, positive mindset in all we are doing, and to ensure that you remain positive in everything you are doing, positive minded in everything you are doing. Just I think yesterday or so, I was speaking with one of my mentees, and that was one point I highlighted for her. You know, the need to be positive minded in all you do, in all you do, in all you do, you know, in all you do. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so Nweke Onyeka Prince, Nweke Onyeka Prince, in a minute, speak to us. What are two insights you've gotten so far from our conversations?
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank you for this forum and the complete man. I actually I didn't start with when the program started, but from during the panel section, I learned something from Mr. Ifan. He says, number one, that your network is your net worth and your relationship is your currency. And again, he also mentioned about emotional intelligence, how you can build a meaningful relationship. So I noticed that how far a man will go, just like when he was trying to talk about, he was asking a question, does it only take hard work for one to be successful? We say that relationship is one of the things that pioneer your hard work. So, and there is a very good skill which he talk about, the emotional intelligence and the being integrity. So one of the things I think I'm going on that human being, just as we are saying in this point, that is a complex being, And we must take our time to understand each and every one, know that everybody is very important in one way or the other. And we always not place people the way maybe we have to put people the way they are, and we can't force them to be ourselves. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Wiki. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm excited to know that a good number of us, or all of us have found the conversation so far insightful, and we've benefited a whole lot from the conversation so far. Jay Maria, you are still raising up your hands. Is there something you forgot to say? Yeah, Mary.
Sorry,
All right.
it's a mistake.
All right, no problem, no problem. Okay, so we continue with our conversations tonight, and we are going to be moving on now into another major session in this conference. Okay, we are going to be moving on to another major session, and this particular session we are moving on is going to be focused on whatever your hand finds to do. You know, when we talk about the complete man, okay, when we talk about the complete man, you know, what your hand finds to do, that's the job, the business that you do as a young person, as a young man, is important, okay, is important in the whole consideration of whether or not you could be regarded as a complete man. All right. So to handle this session is no other but my kingdom brother and friend. Okay, is my kingdom brother and friend. Okay, in whom I am well pleased. Okay, it's a privilege to have him as one of the speakers for this year's conference. It's a privilege to have him as one of our speakers for this year's conference. His name is Felix Guru. Okay, so he is a wordist, he's a teacher, he's a writer too. Okay, he's a wordist, he's a teacher, he's a writer too. Okay, so when you listen to him now, you get to understand why he's a wordist. Okay, you get to understand why he's a teacher. All right. So please, I would like to encourage everyone about as he speaks, pay attention to the pay attention to every word he will be speaking, he will be saying. Pay attention to every word he will be saying. He's a man I've known for a few years now, and each time he speaks, I make sure I pay attention. I make sure I pay attention because each time he speaks wisdom. He speaks wisdom. Okay, so tonight I know it's not going to be anything less than what I know him for, okay, which is the words of wisdom. Okay, so Felix, he is the co-founder of His Voice Universal. His Voice Universal is a non-denominational organization, okay, that is currently located in the University of Nigeria, but has tentacles across the world, has tentacles across the world. So through the organization, he reaches out and builds people, young people especially, he builds young people for leadership and for impact in this generation. Okay, so he is also an entrepreneur. He's also an entrepreneur. So aside what he does, building young people, you know, he is an entrepreneur. All right. So he is into a number, but the one want to know him for his business in the tech space. So he deals with laptops. Okay, he deals and supplies laptops and other electronic devices, you have devices that you need. The laptop I'm using currently for this, he was the one that supplied it to me. Okay, so in case, so I'm just saying all of this so that you get to understand the caliber of person we have joining us joining us for this session, and for you to appreciate whatever he is going to be sharing with you. That he's not just going to speak, textbook knowledge, okay, but he's going to speak from a place of experience, or from a place of experience. So please join me, dear friends, as I welcome to take over in this session, my dear brother, Mr. Felix Duru.
All right, guys, I want to say thank you. I believe everybody can hear me. Thank you.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. The oratory and everything is just much. Thank you. And I've been listening. I was the iPhone 10T guy. I realized that I didn't do the needful when it comes to renaming my this thing. I want to thank CEO for the time. I want to thank the panel team. You guys are amazing. I learned so much. I heard about integrity in a different way, and the team did well. I really, really appreciate. Thank you. And also everyone listening. We're just going to have a wonderful time. I want to thank my brother Savik for always having faith in me. I have 3 services tomorrow, so I need to be quick. And I wanted to ensure that I was flowing with the meeting so that I don't now carry my own another fire and come. So I didn't want to be away and then just come in. I wanted to just be in the meeting and learn, because we're not just giving value, we're sharing and expanding our network. All right, I think I'll turn my video on now. I'm not sure you guys can see me. Can you see me? This my camera is somehow.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can
I
see
think
you.
yes, we can see you, but the
Okay.
lights reflection.
I think the light behind my face. Hold on a
Yes,
minute. Is
yes.
it better now? I think I need to turn this.
All right, sir. All right, so while we wait for him, okay, while we wait for him, please type in the
Just
comment
1 minute.
section. Yes, yes. So while we wait for him,
Sorry,
please
can we
just
manage
type in
this
the
now?
comment section.
Uh,
All right, all right, all right. Go ahead, sir.
I want to be sure that you guys can see me. All right, all right. Okay, let's just proceed. I wanted us to listen to a small song. I don't know, maybe we're ready for that. I can squeeze in 5 minutes of that song into this, just to get everybody to relax. Is that okay? All right. How many of you know this song? You know Grace. You should know Will Smith's Grace. So I wanted us to just relax with that. Don't worry, I would still be within the 20-25 minutes. I wouldn't waste your time. Let's just listen. I think it will bless your heart. I don't know why this song has just been, if you have a brother, if you're a man, I don't know what the song wants to do, but it's just gonna bless you. Let's just listen to it. Okay. I'm gonna sing along with my cracked voice. Don't worry. You can find it anyway. It's Grace by Will Smith. I was lost when you found me here. You pulled me close and held me near. And I'm a fool, which do you love? I'll be a fool for the key of love. You gave me wings so I could fly. You gave me a song to color the sky. And all I have is all from you. Oh God, Lord, is all from you. It's grace, your grace, your grace. Your hands are big. There've been days when I walked away, too much to carry, nothing left to say. Forgive me, Lord, when I'm weak and lost. We traded heaven for a wooden cross. And all these years, you carried me. You've been my eyes when I could not see. And being grow in the driving rain. You're all the badness in the times of pain. Your grace, your grace, your grace. There's nothing without your grace, your grace. Shines on me. Oh, your grace, your grace. There's nothing without you. Your grace, your grace. Shine on me. Oh, yeah. Shine on me. Shine on me. Your grace shine on me. 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 Your grace shine on me. Shine on me. Shine on me. Shine on me. All right, guys. Sorry, I needed that, and I hope that it blessed somebody. Thank you for the time. Let's just begin very quickly. We've done all the preliminaries, and if you want to find the song, it's a very simple song, "Grace" by Will W. Smith. It's gonna bless you. It's gonna change your life. It's a very beautiful song, guys. I just had a feeling that it will bless somebody, and I don't know why. So let's just begin. We're discussing the complete man, and I've been given a topic that is centered on finding something to do, but then I will just spend most of my bulk of time discussing preliminaries before I do that, because it's important for you to know why before we do what. All right, so let's begin with the source of man. Savik, please, if you can hear me, just let me know that you can hear me, because I'm a little bit orthodox, so a lot of text.
I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly.
All right, so let's go in. So the design of man is the only thing that can help us understand what a complete man looks like. And we have to go to that design for us to understand the basics of our conversation. So a whole lot of things have been said from the keynote, opening sections, and the panel. I'm simply going to be re-emphasizing and re-amplifying the same things. And it's important that we know that I do not come to tell you something new, like Apostle John was saying. I am just coming to reactivate the subconscious realities that we already have in our mind, and then hopefully in the end of these few minutes, give a workable template that we can put to work immediately now. Just like our keynote speaker said, you don't need many opportunities. You don't need many open doors. You just need one click, and you walk through and you transcend from where you are to where you're supposed to be, and then you keep going. So the design of man is God. Let us make man in our own image and let him have and let him do and let him, be. So we have to go back to God, and then before we can understand what is complete. And what a complete man looks like. Basically, a complete man looks exactly like God. And God is not religion. God is not a figment of our imagination. The God of the Christian worldview is not something that we cannot explain. Faith in the Christian worldview is not. It's not something we cannot explain. It's not some faith. It's not something we just swallow because there is no explanation. No, the difference between faith and knowledge is that in knowledge you have to understand before you believe. In faith, you have to believe for understanding to begin. So the only way we can know how a complete man looks like is to know how God is. So let's begin with the reality of God. So God said, let us, meaning that the first premix of God is that God is not alone. He exists in completeness, and that completeness is the Trinity reality of God, which is something very simple but confusing to people who don't have that idea. So what you need to know is that in the Trinity of God, there is a Father, there is a Son, and there's the Holy Spirit. And that can be confusing because a lot of other religions think that God is three. No. What it means is that without the Trinity of God, we cannot know God. So what it means is that the Trinity of God explains responsibilities like we've learned and explains dispensation. So let me begin with dispensation. Dispensation means the first person we get to know is the Father. The next person we got to meet is the Son. And then the last person that is now walking in the earth and walking in us, inspiring all of this meeting and everything we're doing and everything I'm sharing, is the Holy Ghost. So, but then as per responsibility, please write this down. In the Father, we know the will of God. In the Son, we hear the words of God. And then in the Holy Ghost, we experience the works of God. And that is the design that we were made. So we were made to think, to speak, and to work. And that's the design of the complete man. So as a man thinketh, so he is. As a man talketh, so he would be. And as a man doeth, so he will end up becoming. So in the end, the completeness, we are simply a reflection of the Trinity of God, like one of my brother, the panelist, said about the triune nature. So it is still the same. The spirit in the will, that's the thought and the conscious dimension of man. And then in the soul, which is the intellectual dimension. And you don't know intellect until you hear intellect, which is words. And then, of course, in the body, which is the action-oriented part of man. And if you observe, you realize that these things are consistent. So you just need to have that in perspective, that in the end, a complete man is simply a man that is thinking right, talking right, and acting right. So in the end, somebody waiting. Please, can somebody handle something is displaying here? You can. Okay. So somebody's waiting to be admitted. I believe you guys can handle that. Savik, you can do that, right? I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah. Yes. Just go on. Just go on. I'm here.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes,
so
sir.
that said, please, I need you to know that is the synchronization of these three realities that produces the completeness. So you can't take away thoughts, words, and action. That is the will of the Father, God. That's the Father, the will, the Word. Jesus is the Word of God that became flesh. And Jesus kept on saying that the Father that is in me, which is the Holy Ghost, doeth the work. So this tripartite nature, reflecting the Trinity of God, is where we begin. So ask yourself first, how am I thinking? Some people think too much negative. Some people think too much mediocre. You understand? How am I talking? Some people talk fear. Some people talk, some people don't, you can't remember the last time you added more words to your vocabulary. You talk weak. You don't make contributions in meeting. Your words are not powerful. Your words are discouraging. And then sometimes your actions are late. You procrastinate. You do a lot. Anything you do shallow. So when I'm not just dealing with the issue of sin per se, I'm dealing with the issue of excellence in the design. So the only way we can find a complete man is to find him in thought, catch him in words, and know him in works. That will make sense. Okay, let me just go on because Martin Luther said a whole lot of things. We still remember him in words. So in the end, how you will be remembered is how you were thinking, how you were talking, and how you were acting. And let's move on to the next one. So we've seen the Trinity of God being mirrored in the triune design of man. So the and let's go back to the introduction of God. And the introduction of God teaches us something extremely important. It teaches us how God introduced himself. Please note this. Note this. I'm not being distracted. I'm not vying off from my center of topic. I'm just giving you the basis why it's important to understand why doing something is important. So in God introducing himself, please note the first thing is he was creating the world. Please note, please, I need you to write it down. So God did only 3 things in creation. So he created the world. Please, let me make it 4 because I want to lump 2 things together. It might come people. So he created. Whoa. All right, guys. Sorry. I just had some power outage. I'm sorry for those that are not in Nigeria, and I cannot go back and power my gen. So I believe everybody can hear me. So let's go audio, right? It's better. So Savik, please let me know when I just need a feedback from you to be sure that I can be picked. Hearing me. All right. So can I be heard,
Yes.
please?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so now please pay attention to this. In the design, please note God created the heaven, God created the earth, God created man, and God created Eve. Please note it down. These are the 4 things that makes God, the introduction of God before the fall. Before the fall. So this is the Father. So what he did was, number 1, he created heaven as a place, a reward system for man. Heaven is not where God lives. Heaven is a reward system for man. And then he created earth, a place of impact for man. And then he created man in his own image. And then he created a woman that will be of help to that man. So as a complete man, we all need to be thinking about what opportunities can I create for others to thrive? How do I reward them if they are thriving? And how do I help them to do better? That is the Father. Now, when the devil came and these men fell, God came in and said, okay, I send my word again to save him and give him a better dimension, a new template of existence. And it's beautiful. I wouldn't go into that because it's going to distract me. And then he now gave his spirit to live in him, to help him live out the new life. Now, that is extremely important and key. So when we now go back, so please remember this eternally. These now reflect back again how the man must function and the realities of the things that are important to him as he goes about his business functioning. Please, so let's quickly go into some of them. So I'm going to now go into how do I do it? I want to move in such a way that I do not have to get distracted or have to come back to re-explain something that we might have missed. Sorry about that. Okay, let's quickly proceed. So now what I wanted to do is to help us flow. So in the design, please note this. I really need to say this before I come through the other end of it. So now in this design, we are able to see that God mirrors the complete man. And then if this complete man is going to mirror God, there are things that he needs to now focus to work on. So let's note it down, please. Number one, his devotions. So the devotion, like my keynote speaker said about altars, that there is no, it's just like greatness is just like an alert in your bank. A particular amount hit your account and they block it because they've not seen that type of money, and you have to come and defend it. So there is a level of greatness there is a size of a throne that we have to sit on an altar. And this is normal common sense to African traditional society. The Igwe must listen to an Ezemo. And this is consistent with the reality of scripture. So I wouldn't go too much into that. Now, the second is yourself, which is the development of yourself as a person. You know, one of our panel speakers talked about eating healthy, like I don't drink Coke anymore. I don't drink anything processed. I just drink water and smoothies for more than, I can't remember, 4 years, 5 years now, just water and smoothie, water. And even tonight, I made watermelon smoothie and apple, just blend it together and put it in the freezer. And also take care of yourself. Then the next thing that is important is your purpose. Your purpose is the reason that contribution you have to make. Please stay with me. And then the next one is your dreams. Now, your purpose is all about your contribution, you know, the impact you want to make in the earth. But your dreams is your ambition. Now, the problem we've had over the years is that we've not been able to blend the issue of vision with the issue of ambition. Now, sometimes you can have a vision to touch the world, but then the moment it is localized, you are limited. But once it becomes globalized, now in the religious setting, most people say, are you saying that people cannot have big things they want to do? Yes, you should have a dream. Because inside that, purpose is the why you're doing it. The dream is the destination where you're going. Stay with me and don't get lost. I'm almost rounding up. And then the next is your finances. So you can have a purpose, but you're not thinking about money. You're not thinking about finances as a man or as a human being, then there's a problem. And then finally, in that regard, is your relationship. Remember that Adam had God, Adam had himself, Adam had a purpose, Adam would have a dream to expand in the instruction that he was given. Do you understand? Let him have dominion and replenish the earth and subdue it. And then, of course, we now in an economic system, our keynote speaker talked about the trade by barter reality of the economic system. So money is simply value that is drawing up value, that is exchanging value. So value is the new gun. And then finally, relationship. And relationship is in two places: the partnership of purpose, and of course the support system of your emotional stability. So he had Eve. Eve was representing the people outside and the people at home. You know, when we talk about relationship, we are always quick to limit it to emotional one. But, you know, I love when one of our panel speakers was talking about emotional intelligence, know when to dump brands and all of that. So this brings me to the next part of this discourse. In creating the world, God was solving three major problems. So the earth was without form, the earth was void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. So please note this. This is what a complete man needs to do every time. So the first thing is that God had a dream. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Note that that thing was his vision, his mind, because in the next verse, we began to see that there was a big contradiction, which is the earth was without form and void, and darkness was all over the deep. So if I was going to rewrite the scriptures, I wouldn't put that first. What I will do is to say, in the beginning, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and God said. That would have been my and God created. But then, first of all, your vision and your dream must be in past tense, and then you now do problem analysis. So God said that the three problems here is that the problem of form, the problem of void, and the problem of darkness. And for you to be a complete man, you have to know that these are the three problems you are solving every day. As a matter of fact, we're having this conference because we want to solve the problem of darkness. So form is simply order, managing your time, prioritizing yourself, organizing yourself, multitasking yourself. So order, until you put order into your life, until you know what you're going to do after a particular meeting, then there will be a problem as you navigate your journey. So order, until you have order, you can never be in charge. You know, a lot of people want to give order, but their life is not in order. That is very, very contradictory, if you ask me. Then the second one is the issue of void, which is content. Content and content is the power to solve void. So you have to be content and you have to have content. But they all go together. They are like traffic and weather. So if you don't have content, you will never be content. So you see people in comparison, people who hate other people, people who are jealous of other people. The reason why you are seeing the shining thing in the hand of another person is because you have lost sight of yours. And then the last one is darkness. Darkness is not night. Darkness is ignorance. And the solution to darkness is light. And light is knowledge, understanding, and wisdom and counsel. Listen to me very carefully. They are not the same. Knowledge is information. Understanding is implication. And wisdom is application. Why counsel is intuition. Now, it's important to know this because reading a book is you getting information. But having understanding is you knowing what you are going to gain if you apply that information, and knowing what you're going to lose if you go against that information, meaning that you now have understanding. You are simply standing under the information. But application is wisdom, which is you now step out to put it to work. And then counsel is intuition, is counterintuitive most of the time because it comes from those who have gone ahead of you. I'm going somewhere, and so a complete man solve the problem of void, solve the problem of form, and solve the problem of darkness. So a complete man is in the image of God, acting like God, creating, and then that's important. So this brings me to the final part, almost the final part of my discourse is this. So please, let's go back to God. If we go back to God, we will see four important templates that a complete man, I'm talking about what a man must do now. So please, let's note it down. Number one, God was creating. One. Number two, God was working. They were not the same. I beg, make you know this. They are not the same. So in the beginning, God created the world. And then when you go through when he was done, he said, and God finished his work. The problem with most of us is that we think too much and we walk too small. No. And then some of us walk too small and we think too small. Some of us walk, let me put it in a way now. Some of us think too much and we walk too small. Hard work is important. You can't take it away. If you want deep, great works are as a result of deep thoughts and hard works. You can't take it away. So Bill Gates was building Microsoft. He was sleeping. He will come before everybody, and everybody will leave him in the office. When the same way with Jeff Bezos. So there are seasons of doing the work. So the creativity is about the mind, and then rework, because it's about what you need to do. And then the third thing God was doing, so creativity is about your mind, the work is about your hands. And then the third thing was leadership. So he made man and started leading him. And meaning that you can create as an individual, but for you to sustain your creation, you have to lead another person in succession. So your creation is success, your leadership produces succession. So Adam was the succession of God to sustain the success of God. So God had to come to him in the evenings to fellowship with him and give him a dimension and help him to be effective. And then the final thing is that God rested. So complete men must create, complete men must work, complete men must lead, complete men must rest. And when I talk about rest cannot be overemphasized, because that is one reason why if you step out of your house this night, most of the club in your neighborhood are filled up, most of the beer parlors are filled up, because men is encoded in their nature to rest, because they are made in the image of God, but they don't know how to rest. They don't know how to rest. They drink, they carry women, they do all those things. It's just the God in them finding rest, looking for rest. And we must become creative, intentional for you to rest, or else you're going to die young, you're going to overwork yourself, and even God rested. So why shouldn't you become intentional and creative about resting? So now this is important. Remember, God was made in the image, man was made in the image of God. So meaning that man must have these 3 dimensions, these 4 dimensions: creativity, work, leadership, and resting. That's why you must go on holiday. That's why you must check out into a hotel, move with your wife, get away with some of your friends, attend some meetings, conferences, just to be away and recoup your energy. So, but now for man to sustain this reality of God, he must bring in 3 more exercises. Please note this. He must bring in 3 more exercises. Why? He can't sustain behaving like God until he brings the 5th one is worship. He must worship a God. Forget it. Atheists are worshiping knowledge. Everybody must bow somewhere. So the idea of worship is encoded in the design. And a man was designed to be dependent of God, independent of self, and interdependent on people, like our panelists have already said. So please note this: worship, and then service. The man needs to serve a purpose. The man needs to serve his wife. The man needs to be of service, because what you serve is what will determine what you deserve. And then, of course, he needs to follow. Man needs to follow a father. Cain didn't follow Adam. You getting me now? The followership of men. So you worship only God, follow a mentor. Complete men follow leadership. Cristiano Ronaldo still plays football at his level and listening to a coach on a sideline. A complete man has a mentor. Ladies, if you are listening to me, the first question you ask any man coming after you is, who is his father? Who is his mentor? It is not negotiable. It is the reality of men. He is incomplete without fatherhood. Note that. So he must follow a father. He must follow a vision. That is what you are coming to. That must the things that he has before you. So in closing, I believe I've been able to make that point, because a lot of time people don't know that in the world there were 5 living things: God, man, angels, plants, animals. And then some angels fell and became devils and demons. And man must worship God. Angels must minister to him. He must fight demons. Yes, he must defend the territory of God. And then the way the children of the world are also using that to manipulate. So this gives us an idea of what a man should be doing. So if you ask me, what should a man be doing? So I'm going to give you a few instances. Number 1 is that a man must make God proud. Number 2, a man must make himself better. Number three, a man must make sense. Because some people don't know that communication is key. I was listening to something about Eminem. He's not a very good role model for us in this discourse, but the guy is very good. He's one of the greatest of all time rappers. There was a time Eminem will read through the dictionary more than countless times in a year, just for him to have enough words in his vocabulary as he freestyles to rap. So, and that helps him to outwit other people when they want to diss. And again, a man must make progress, and a man must make money. A man must make money. So, in the completeness and in the design, please don't forget this. What you need to be doing is that don't forget, do your God, do your gifts, do your relationships. These are key. And then do your own, do yourself. Because when they say whatever a man's trying to do, let him do, we go back to the template. God was doing heaven, God was doing earth, God was doing man. God was still looking and saying, it is not good for this man to be alone. So he gave him a helper. And then, of course, put the entire design for continuity in them. And this is where I'm going to draw the curtain, because it's important that you know this, that in the end, every man must do one of all three of this: ministry, career, and enterprise. And this is what I want to nail down. Whatever your hand finds to do, always ask yourself, like I asked mine, which area is this? Is it ministry? Ministry is not pulpit. Ministry is everything you do for the purpose of advancing the kingdom, for the purpose of pleasing God. And then career and enterprise are focused on giving you a good life in the earth. They are focused on profit. So ministry focus on impact, and the other one focus on profit. The only difference between career and enterprise is that career is in a controlled system where you give somebody your time while they take your value. But in enterprise, you have to sell goods, sell services, or sell knowledge in a system that is not predictable, controlled, though predictable, but then you have to do something. So there is no room for idleness in the complete man. There is no room for mediocrity in the complete man. He must do things excellently, which is simply doing it better than it was done yesterday, and doing it on time, and doing it within budget, and doing it to be affordable. And that is how we beat the system, and that's why how we advance our life and advance everybody around us. So a man that is devotion is good, but his relationship is bad, is not a complete man. He might be spiritual, but he's simply disadvantaged in the world. Are you getting me now? So he might be good in relationship. Nice guys don't go far. Nice guys without value, without something to offer in the world, won't go far. Being nice doesn't, even ladies don't marry nice people. You can be nice. Niceness is just, oh, you're nice, Mr. Nice Guy. So being just, being oh yes member because you want to sustain every relationship and you're not intentional about it. No, as a matter of fact, if any relationship doesn't advance you forward, push you into devotion, stabilize your life, think about it again. And this will be how I'm going to close. I believe when we wrap it in together, I've said so many things, I've learned so many things from everyone, but I believe that in this little thing, I'm just trying to ensure that people don't think that they can do everything. Do the important things. As a matter of fact, you don't have the time to do everything, but you have too much time to do the important things. The question is, do you know what is important with respect to your destiny? And that's the big question. And until you know what is important with respect to where you're going, you are going to be impotent with respect to where you're coming from. Thank you, everyone. I will now hand over to my brother. My time is gone, and I'll now take questions. Thank you very much. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, okay, everyone. Um, if you could recall, I did make mention that you will have to pay rapt attention when he is speaking, or else you miss out. And I want to believe that no one missed out in the course of this conversation, because everything was just sounding new. Everything was just sounding new. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, P. Thank you very much. It was an engaging session. Listening to you, dissect, the dissect just one verse of Genesis. Just dissect one verse of Genesis. It was so engaging. It was so engaging. What really caught my attention is how you brought us back. After leading us into understanding the design of God, that man was designed by God. And if we must understand, or if we before we even start considering what makes a complete man, we have to go back to that design which God made. And then you begin to present that design to us. And then you highlighted the attributes of God based on that design. God, God created, God created, God walked, God led, and God rested. Like, that brought a sudden shift for me. That was a light bulb moment for me. God created, God walked, God led, and God rested. And I think that sums up the whole conversation around whatever your hand finds to do. It sums up the whole conversation. That alone sums up the whole conversation. Okay, whatever your hand finds to do, you create. And for you to create, it requires innovation. It requires innovation. It requires vision. It requires vision. It requires innovation. It requires creativity. It requires you putting your mind to work. It requires you putting your mind to work. And um no matter where you are, it doesn't matter whether you are working for yourself on your own business, or you're working for another person employed on a job. Okay, you should be creating. If you're employed on a job, or you are employed in any place, and after a few months, the role you are employed in has not, as there is no difference, like there is no change. Okay, there is no change, there is no noticeable change. Then there is something wrong with you. You are not creating. You are not creating. So there's there is this belief I have: whatever role you find yourself in, okay, works, creates so well in it that you transform the whole job description. That you transform the whole job description, that another person has to come in to take over the initial job you had, and then you move on to a higher job. Okay, so I believe that's what each and every one of us have to continue to aim towards. Make sure you are creating at whatever level, in whatever space you are playing in. Make sure you are creating. 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 And then you talked about God works. Okay, God works. So whatever you've created, make sure you give your time, you give your attention to make sure that what you created works. What you've created produces value, and that value is one that is able to be appreciated by people. Okay, so make sure you work on whatever you've created. You have an idea, work on the idea. Okay, don't just tell us you have an idea, work on it, develop the idea. Okay, give flesh to that idea. Don't just tell us, oh wow, I have a beautiful idea. No, we don't want to hear that nonsense. Okay, get to work on it, and when you've worked on it and it is tested, it is then present it to the world. CEO made a striking statement when he made CEO made a striking statement when he made reference to finance. Okay, when it comes to the complete man, he said when it comes to finance, you just have to realize that finance answers to value, or finance flows in the direction of value. So if you need finance, create value. Okay, it flows in the direction of value. So you need to work that idea you have, create it into a valuable product, create it into a valuable service that people can pay you for. All right. And then he talked about leading. Is very much important. Everyone on this call, everyone participating in this conference, please know this. It's very important that you are taking your leadership serious. Okay. If you've never seen yourself as a leader from this conference, please start seeing yourself as a leader. CEO said something. He said every man is created a leader. So please understand this. Understand this. Naturally, as a man, you have leadership placed on you as a man. Naturally, as a man, you have leadership placed on you. You have leadership placed on you, and also you yourself. For you to become the best of yourself, you also need to lead yourself. Also need to lead yourself. So learn how to lead. If you don't know leadership, learn it. Leadership can be learned. Leadership can be developed. Okay, it doesn't happen in space. It can be learned. It can be developed. Find out how to develop leadership. Okay, find out how to develop leadership, and then God rested. I think that is one area I'm still struggling with. That resting part, that is one area I'm still struggling with. But I trust God to help me, to. All right, thank you very, very much. So please, I would like to know if anyone has any question. If anyone has any question, please. If you have a question, yeah, feel free to leave in the comments, or indicate, and then I will call you up, and then you speak. You speak and ask your question. If anyone has any question, just indicate in the chat, or I'll call you up and you speak. Any question from anyone? Any question from anyone? Any question from anyone?
Sir, please. I will just, maybe they don't have questions. Maybe they have contributions. Maybe you can open
All right.
hand. Okay.
All right. So please, whether questions or contributions, kindly indicate. Weke Onyeka, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Okay. Thank you, Victor. My question is that the speaker talked about the problem of form, void, and darkness. I would like if he can actually expatiate on that, because I couldn't get what he said clearly.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So please, before he answers, I would like to know if there is any other person that has a question, so that he will just answer together. Any other person on the call who has a question to ask, probably what was said and you didn't understand. Any other person who has a question to ask, kindly indicate. All right, sir, you can answer the question that has been asked, sir.
All right, thank you so much for the question, Savik. Thank you for taking this. All right, the issue of form, void, and darkness is simply the underlying reality of the consistency of God. So if you go to Genesis, the Bible says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Please, it's a decoy statement. It's more like it's I don't understand. It's a very, if you look at it, you will miss out. So the first issue of greatness is vision. So that's the first. People think that creation is God is done. No, actually, until you write your vision in past tense, you cannot get it to become reality in present tense. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So it's done. But then he now noted the next thing, which is problem analysis. So there are three major problems he needs to solve for that vision to become a reality. Please note that. So don't be ashamed of the problem you have. that are preventing a vision or a dream you have. The only way those dreams will happen is for you to solve those problems. As a matter of fact, a man that is working on his dreams is simply a man that is solving the problems on his way to his dreams. So God simply saw that, okay, there are three problems here: the problem of form, the problem of void, and the problem of darkness. And if you go through, he started backwards. He started from let there be light. So the issue of light is knowledge, understanding. I've explained that. You can get the recording. I believe they're recording. So when you want to read, when you want to achieve something, there's nothing wrong with you going to read some books, going to attend some meetings like we're having this conversation. Every time you attend a meeting, every time you read a book, every time you ask a question like you did, you're simply saying, let there be light, let there be light, let there be light. Because God is more difficult for God to use an ignorant person than for him to use a sinner. I don't know, maybe God is more difficult. Do you know that Apostle Paul was not with Jesus? Apostle Paul didn't see Jesus, but Apostle Paul wrote half of the Testament, and it's amazing because he had light. He had a level of, he was detoxed with the spirit of ignorance. So let there be light. And then the issue of void is content, discovering your talent, which is three things actually: your giftings, which is your talent, things you're naturally good at, your passion, which are the things you're naturally interested in, and then of course your burden, the things you are naturally angry at. These three things form the basis of your content, and you have to be content with what you have for you to maximize the content that you have. And then of course the issue of form is organization. You know, Savik will start his day and say, these are the things I set out to do. I always look at his status. You know, until you can manage 24 hours, you cannot be accountable for 24 years. So it is the consistent form is simply prioritization, organization. You know, we finish this meeting. Are you going to bed? Do you want to read? Do you want to reanalyze? Knowing why you are doing what you are currently doing, and knowing what you are going to be doing next, is one of the most powerful reality of greatness. So if you put your life in form, if you organize and begin to get your content, put some container, some branding around yourself, content container, like that. And then of course knowledge. So those three things are key. I don't know how else to explain it, but God will give us more knowledge so that I don't use this answering this question to begin another one. And so he said, let there be light. That was done. And then he began to put order. He began to put order. Okay, let the day separate from this. Let the water separate from this. Organize your room. Jordan Peterson said, organize your room. If you can put your room together, you're already putting the world together. Organize your money. Don't put money in the pocket and they are scattered. Organize your bag. Organize yourself. Especially if you are sanguine like me. Kama. Kukaka, everything, everywhere. Sometimes I come out from the toilet and my wife is, baby, have you flushed? You have to organize. I'm sorry about that. So organizing, and it's with time. You organize time, you organize your finances, and then you get feedback from yourself on how you're spending your money and how you're spending your time and who you're spending your time with. And the two build your value, because that your content increases with order and increases with knowledge. And by the time he now came to the end, after all of the he was doing both together. The moment he puts things in order, he calls out content. So he didn't leave water to be void. So he said, okay, water is now separated from land. Okay, water, produce every fish. Nothing should be left without. So stop thinking you are not talented. Stop thinking you are just here to discover what you have. Then he looked at the land. He said, let the land produce this. He kept on ensuring that let the sky. He kept on ensuring that even where things are in order, then the things are not without giftings. They are not without content. And in the end, he now put a man in charge. Do you know that God didn't allow rain to fall until there was a man to till the ground? So even when you put order into your life and you don't have content that you are content with, you are not going to make progress. But even if you have a content and a gift and you organize yourself, but you still don't have the right knowledge and information, you will still not make progress. I believe with these few words of mine, I've been able to answer the question. Sorry about that. Tabi, please go back. All right. Before I start another sermon here now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Wiki, can you confirm that your question has been answered? Yeah. Wiki.
Okay, thank you, sir. Um I'm happy from your response. I think everything is clear now.
All right. All right. Thank God that everything is clear. And may it remain clear forever. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, P. Thank you very much for making our time to be with us in this conference and for sharing with us from your wealth of knowledge, experience, and revelation. Thank you very much. It's been an engaging session. I myself, once we shut down from this today's session, I will take time to go over everything you said again, okay? Because I need to hear and hear again. I need to hear and hear again. So I'll take time to go over everything you said. So thank you very much for making our time with us. Thank you very much for sharing with us the much you've shared this night. I know if we permit you, you can go on till tomorrow morning. But all
So
right, sir. Thank you.
let me just make one statement. This is
All
very
right,
key
sir.
and this is very dangerous, but I don't want everybody to misconstrue it. Do you know that in the fall of man, Adam lost his devotion, Adam lost his purpose, but Adam held on to his partnership, and that partnership allowed him to recover everything else. You know what the panelists was saying about integrity, because what sustains relationship is simply that emotional intelligence, value, and integrity. No relationship survives without having a value. If you have something that other people need and you discover and you pay attention to what you also need from other people, and the relationship will work. We are always to throw away relationships. We're always quick to even when we don't throw it away, we don't know how to nurture it. So I want to encourage everyone. Completeness is we cannot know a complete man until we know a complete God, and that's the message I want to leave us. So in our search for the complete man, we have to keep reflecting on this guy that just woke up and decided to create all these things and make the system, and we're still learning his nature. And that's what he's been saying since. As we behold ourselves in the mirror, we are changed. That's whereas he wants us to be changed like him. And then the Bible says that they that wait upon the Lord, they shall. So the only in leadership self, a successful leader simply produces gods in men. So it's not just about the moral side, but you can produce moral children that are extremely timid. They need to be embodied. They need to make statements in the world. So let me not start again. God bless you guys. Good night. All right, thank you. If you don't have questions and
All right.
contributions, I don't feel very good
All
about
right.
it. All right.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we are now, uh, we are now, we've now come to the tail end. We've now come to the tail end of our conversations tonight. I really want to appreciate everyone who joined in for today's session. Thank you to everyone who joined in today. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So before we wrap up here, I would like to get one or two persons share with us, okay, what has been your experience from the conversations today? What has been your experience from the conversations today? If it has been a waste of your time, please do let us know. Okay, we are open to constructive criticism. It has been a waste of your time, let us know. Okay, if it has been a waste of your time, let us know. Probably we'll just cancel tomorrow's session and not hold tomorrow's session. So please, one or two persons, could you share with us your experiences so far? Share with us your experiences so far. One or two persons. Anyone? Weke, Chibundo, Chiemerie. Okay, Weke, go ahead. Chiemerie. Yeah. Weke, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you once again for the meeting. My little experience, just like from the last speaker, I came to realize that for one to be complete, the complete man must actually first and foremost understand whom the complete God is, since a man is created in the image of God. So that means that the completeness of a man lies inside of God. So when a man have discovered God, who is complete, therefore the man himself will also be complete. Then, but the speaker mentioned something. He says, it, because the complete God from the creation, Genesis, where he started, he talk about creating, he talk about work, he talk about leadership, he talk about rest. So what makes a man to be complete is a man that creates, a man that works, a man that leads, and at the same time rest. So it simply means that as a man, whenever I found myself, I must always look for, because